Well, it's very difficult to come back from a 100-plus drubbing, Sandy. I give the Saints a genuine chance, but I like the speed and the ins for Carlton. If Yaron can get on his bike, then we're in for a big night.
Jason?
Not a lot to hang your hat on form-wise, Sandy, but I am going for the Blues tonight. Just looking at a couple of the early matchups. Jamison's gone to Revolt and Rowe's gone to Stanley.
So here we go then. It's St Kilda winning the toss and fittingly kicking to the Lockett end of the ground. Billy Longer is charged with the ruck work. Big task up against Warnock, who wins the initial tap. Gibbs tried to get it out, was unsuccessful, has another crack at it. This time he is successful. Now they go charging up towards the half-forward line. We talked about the pace of Carlton. Here's one man who's involved in that. The kick by Yaron goes in towards the pocket. Daisy is there. Attempted to flick it back into play. He was unsuccessful. We'll have a throw. Hutto, who do you like?
Well, going for Carlton, but I think give the Saints, I know they've had a hard week on the track. They had to try and bounce back from last week, and if they're not too tired, they could be very competitive tonight. And that's not going to help their cause. There's a free kick straight away. And it's going Carlton's way. And it's going to be the veteran, Cade Simpson, to line up for goal. 207 games he's played now, and with Heath Scotland out of the team, he's their most experienced player.
And you can see there he had his hands in the air. He was letting the umpire know that he was being restricted. Not massively, but the umpires are hot on it. You've got to be very careful.
And he's been careful over the kick, and he just caresses it through the middle. Great start for the Blues.
Easy start by the Blues. Just getting the ball out of the centre of the ground. Murphy getting a nice touch early, which is great when you're a midfielder. You want to get that ball early. Clint Jones, I see, is now getting some attention from the runner. He went to the half-forward flank as a lockdown on Walker, but already they're making a change.
I'll tell you who else is getting attention. Nick Revolt jogged from centre-half back to the square. Every single one of the 6 Carlton defenders bumped into him. Got in his face, got physical.
And you can see that matchup. On the wing, Clint Jones is now pushed on to Chris Yaron and given him some curry. And now they're getting Yaron to go forward. So no one wants to play on Clint Jones at this stage.
Simpson gets just his 2nd goal for the season. Lauren Warnock lock horns once again. Warnock got a hand to it, tried to get it down towards Simpson. That was successful. Off he goes to Gibbs, around the body, up towards the half-forward line. All Carlton at the moment. Don't tell me he's going to do it again. From 48 metres, goes in towards Yaron. And Chris Yaron will go back and kick virtually from the edge of the square and pop through Carlton's 2nd. Well, they have been very wary, Jared, of their slow starts so far this season.
They have, Sandy. I think their intensity very much linked to their disposal, and their disposal efficiency right now has been quite superb.
Yaron gets the goal. It's his 8th for the season. Carlton off to a fly.
Couldn't have done any better than this, Jason. And when you get an inclusion like Yaron, he gets on board early and slots one, then everybody is happy at headquarters for the Blues. But this is a danger sign now. Simpson's been involved in their 2 goals and really good work. He started from the back, edged his way forward, as you see, just read the ball better.
Hard to tell whether Cade Simpson was actually having a shot or not, but what the Blues are doing is they're getting first use of the footy. If you're winning the clearances, you're sending the ball straight forward, puts the opposition defence
Not
under
only are they
pressure.
getting first use,
Only use.
they are getting only use.
10 possessions to nothing.
They've laid 1 tackle so far. That's their only mention on the score sheet so far, the Saints, or the stat sheet at least. No mention at all on the scoreboard. And Big Longer goes up with great intent, gets the tap down to Montagna, and they're into rude territory. And Revolt goes to ground. Like that time again, and so would his teammates, because Carlton are away. Simpson feeding the skipper in Murphy. And a bit of pressure on Doherty, but he's able to just recover in time to hit a target, and that's Rowe, who's found his home in defence over the past 5 to 6 weeks. And now Tui takes it out to the wing. Wide kick for Everett. He's got Snyder for company, and the ball is over and out.
Well, they're looking pretty sharp, the Blues, and it's danger time for the Saints. They've just got to lock down now and just try and wrest back some momentum.
4 minutes gone. Carlton with 2 on the board already. Warnock, front spot. And in fact, he says, I'll do it myself, and he does. Up towards half forward. The ball was touched, so play on is called. Thomas couldn't get a run at it. Pressure now on the defence. Bruce's hand pass eventually is taken over the line, and one behind is conceded.
It's interesting the role of Dale Thomas. He started deep forward. On that occasion, he was actually the lone forward in the goal square, the deepest of them all. Sean Dempster's got the job on him tonight.
Webster to the outer side, looking for Dempster. Picks it up now and goes towards Riewoldt, who's snuck away. Rowe comes late, does well from behind, picks it up now, and the defence of Carlton standing firm at the moment.
I just wonder whether or not Daisy hasn't got the job on Dempster. He's such a great intercept mark. Nick loves locking down on that intercept defender.
High ball in from Armfield. Almost out, not quite. Now it is. Mitch Robinson, who started so strongly last week, like so many of his teammates, found the game pretty tough as it's against Collingwood until the last quarter at least. Alan Richardson getting vocal early. Little handball slipped out from Curran to Stephen. Now it goes back Armfield's way again. Tui, Gibbs. Clean gets it in there. Anything could happen. Shenton comes out. Flashing kick at goal. Doherty. There's a miss.
Had Daisy Thomas over the top as well, all alone in the goal square, but he was under pressure, had to throw it the boot very quickly.
So Webster brings it back in and finds Gwilt.
Call to play on. That he does. Just short, but okay to the informed tagger of the Saints lineup in Curran. Wider still towards Shenton. Because those come down from the mountain to play footy.
Yeah, they paid a free kick here against Walker because he's held Nick Riewoldt by the shirt. Once again, every time Riewoldt is walking or jogging back to the attacking zone, every Carlton player in the vicinity is getting into him physically. He's obviously been targeted.
Interesting.
You can actually hear the Carlton players telling each other to do it down here too, Joe. So no question, it has become a very big target for them to do it to him.
Which makes it a good medal battle for Riewoldt now too.
We've already seen, Moons, that when Riewoldt comes up the ground, that Jamison leaves him and he lets Walker follow him or another player. So obviously they don't want to let Riewoldt run Jamison into the ground.
No, well, I think we know Jamison, he likes to play more of an inside 50 defender. We know Walker can run with him.
Riewoldt too far out the score. Just popping it in towards the 30-metre mark. And now an opportunity for Shenton, who snaps at goal, but the wild man is wide. And one behind is registered. First score of the night for the Saints. They down by 13 points.
Bottom right here, just have a look at that.
And then they'll carry on. You can see a couple of them come over. They all want to get physical contact on him, but he just grabbed the jumper. Ray Chamberlain saw it firsthand.
Tui into Murphy, covering plenty of territory. Gets the Blues safely enough to half back. Jamison hits the pack, hits the pass and finds Rowe. So it's a slow build from half-back for the Blues. McLean tries to hit a target. He does. Menzel, terrific pickup. He's given himself a metre or two. He's got Casbolt as the deep target. Two Saints to contend with. Did him no favours, in fact. Would have to be a magician to get up and take that one. It's out of bounds on the full.
Well, we've talked about the intensity of the Blues being up and down, Jason, but right now there are some bad signs for the Saints. They need to really address their attack on the ball before this blows out.
Dempster went hard one way and then doubling back the other.
Yeah, never a great sign when you've got to pull up stumps and go back the way you've just come. That means no one's working hard. Puts him under pressure. He kicks it out in the full.
Just a couple of attempted tackles that went
Henderson.
to ground. When you get a bloke like this who's just waltzing into space, the signs are poor, to say the least.
Henderson kicking it into this big man Casbolt. The job's not done yet, though, with Levi Casbolt. Can't be too sure about where the kick's going to go.
He continues to improve, though, Hutto. I know he's probably not the best at conversion, but he's not horrible.
Terrific mark, isn't he, too?
He's got some future.
Comes in, looks reasonable, but it's tending left. And we just hit the post on the way through.
Got to get a succession of possessions, get a goal on the board. Shenton had a big opportunity not so long ago, but maintenance of possession now for the Saints just to get themselves into this match.
Shenton to Snyder. Snyder goes up towards the wing. They've got the numbers there. They can push even further afield. They do to Lenny Hayes. Hayes on the outer wing here at Etihad, in front of a crowd that has built steadily, but certainly not huge. Everett in trouble, caught by Montagna. Walker, now Buckley. But the hand pass going backwards and unfortunately finds the line.
And you can see the value of Clint Jones in that forward line. He's just working overtime. He's leading the way in that department for the Saints, keeping the ball, keeping the pressure up, keeping the ball in their forward 50.
Short throw in, didn't do Longer or Casbolt any favours at all. Montagna ties up Everett, he's going nowhere. He asks the question, does Joey, and he gets an answer in the affirmative.
No excuses for the ruckman, Sandy. They've seen it all round. Umpires are throwing it towards the centre of the ground.
Rewald over the top, couldn't take the mark. Mad Mitch gets it out with the hand pass initially. Carlton again go backwards to Buckley. He gives it off again towards Murphy. Murphy continues to run, takes it back, goes up towards the half-forward line. It only got to bounce kindly, and they are away. McLean snapping in towards goal, away to the right and one behind.
Well, they've got a couple of issues through the middle of the ground here, Jason.
Yep.
Simpson is getting away from Snyder, and Murphy was going head-to-head with Lenny Hayes at one stage. He's just going to be too quick for them.
Not the best kick into play. Made Sipos work very hard, so there's a real hesitation and uncertainty about St Kilda, and it's not getting any better. Henderson, the latest to take aim, and he misses too. So the Blues, with their scoring so far, 7 scoring shots to 1 for a sum total of 2 goals 5.
Yeah, that's 7 scoring shots from 8 inside 50s. So that back 6 for St Kilda's under serious pressure.
Not the start the Saints had in mind at early days. Ray from half-back can go to Jones, and he does. He's got the player going past in Nunes. Now down to the pocket. Here's an opportunity inside 50 for Dunstan, coming back into the lineup this week. Gives it off to the skipper in Rewald, fires across the face of goal. Dribbled it through virtually. And does not trouble the score.
Now it appears that Gibbs is going with Lenny Hayes at the stoppages.
Casbolt gets front spot, tried to poke it down. It's going to be an opportunity for Ray, smothered. Now the Carlton defence knitting together. Off before acceptances, but getting another chance is Doherty. He's got it at half-back. So Doherty comes laterally. It's going to be okay to Simon White. White is called to go. And he does. Short kick, but effective enough to Simpson. Alan Richardson in the Saints coach's box has been watching for the first 10 minutes or so. Richo, 7 scoring shots to 1. Certainly not the start you wanted.
No, the Bulls have been slow. Burnt at contested footy, and just look like we're struggling to go with them on their rebound at the minute. But it's only early.
Been opened up a couple of times through the centre corridor as well. That'd be a concern, Richo.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that, Josh. We're trying to make sure that it's as tight as possible, and the boys are just losing a little bit of structure and opened up.
Are you worried about intensity at all, Richo?
Look, it certainly hasn't been as good as it has been. There's a chance on the back of last week that the boys are a little bit reactionary. That'll be a real focus.
Richo, we'll let you go. Thanks for your time. We'll speak to you in the third term as Buckley sends a long kick down towards the forward line once again. Daisy Thomas on the boundary line, runs out of room in the end, and we've got a throw in Carlton's left forward pocket.
Very composed, Alan Richardson. I mean, it's a great opportunity to talk to someone in the field of battle, per se. You know, just watching the way things unfold and being able to keep a clear head like that. He's seeing a lot of things he doesn't like at the moment.
I think the term you use, reactionary, is an interesting one, isn't it? Given the smashing they took last week, would have been one of the concerns with such a young team. And at the moment, they're under severe fire in their back line.
Well, it's not just the young blokes either, Hutto. It's the older fellows as well. They're trying to do their very best to lead, and they're all trying to do their individual jobs. But sometimes when you're in that frame of mind, you can focus too much on your own and not react to the set of circumstances in front of you. And in this game, you must work off the blueprint, react to the set of circumstances, and go out and help your teammate as much as you do just looking after your own cupboard.
13 players under 50 games for the Saints. It comes to Hayes, and obviously one of them more experienced. And there's Farron Ray The pressure being passed from player to player. Hayes again goes in there, and again he goes to Ray. Now Shenton in just his second game. Jones with Blues surrounding him. And well done, Walker, but Jones not going to give up, and he's put the pressure on Tui, and that's a big win.
That's the intensity that the coach would love right across the board. He's leading the way. He needs a few of his teammates to jump on board.
Stephen goes short and finds Snyder on the way out. Carlton 2-5-17. St Kilda one behind. Aggressive kick into the middle. Finds Bruce. Well adrift. And now back to Ray. Covering plenty of territory. And they are on the break. Let's see where it can lead them.
Rewald worked really hard.
And he gets clear. And this time he holds the mark.
That is the best passage of play we've seen from St Kilda for not just tonight, but for 2 weeks, Jason. That was absolutely brilliant. And it started with Snyder taking a calculated risk to go to the centre of the ground. It set them free. And the work rate of this bloke is exceptional, as we know.
It's amazing what a change of direction and some fast movement of the football can do for the forwards. They see a pocket of space to run into. They run hard. They get a good kick. And all of a sudden, instead of all the pressure you've been facing, you get a little bit of a spell as one of your teammates lines up for goal. And I think this qualifies as the captain's goal just to get them into the game.
Well, to cut them back to 10 points. In his 14th season, Nick Rewald knows how to kick straight this year. That's right through the middle. And the skipper has kicked his 19th goal, well, 19 goals, 5. He had one earlier on that bounced the thing into the behind post.
Yeah, it was absolutely magnificent, that shot at goal. It's exactly what they needed. Have a look at the work rate of this bloke. He is just burning off Jamieson. He's working him into the ground. The kick had to be good. Kick was good. Then he had to take the mark. Not an easy mark. But to go back and then slot the goal after one half chance was missed, and Shenton missed probably a gimme chance. That was absolutely necessary from the skipper.
It's a great opportunity to look at the work rate of Nick Rewald as we see the chain of possessions that led to that goal. It worked all the way up to the wing, and then it was a 120-metre sprint back to the forward pocket to get on the end of it.
Arnfield, you can see there, bottom of the centre circle. He's making Joe Montagna work really hard for his possessions.
16 minutes gone. Armfield tries to get it out of the middle, needs help, gets it from Ellard, who pokes it high up towards the 50 once again. Fisted clear. The pace of Yaron is close by. Now he leads Shenton in the race, but eventually runs out of room.
They've actually made a move with Rowe going on to Rewalt now, guys. So Jamieson said, well, I've had enough after 5 minutes. Someone else take over for a bit.
Well, I think that's a good idea, Moons. They'll probably rotate, chop and change a number of times just to preserve the tank, because I don't think any one player can actually run with him.
From the throw-in, pressure on Jack Stephen, who was able to get the hand pass away, but they're not out of trouble yet. Look at the tackle here. The ball spills free to Simpson. Simpson, can he get clear? Yes, he can. Wobbles a punt up towards the half-forward line. No mark was taken. Pushed towards the boundary line once again. Scrag was Yaron. Goes to ground, loses the footy. Gibbs out of bounds. No, just in play. Called to play on, and now it's taken over for a throw-in.
I think the Daisy Thomas matchup is classic Mick Malthouse, Jason. He loves trying to lock down on the best attacking defender for the opposition, and he's pinpointed Sean Dempster, who is, we know, one of the best small defenders and intercept marks in the competition.
Warnock does it well from behind. It's pushed down towards Billings. Billings gets the hand pass away, and it's flicked towards Rewald, who's a long way from home, and Sam Rowe just puts the fist out. Almost a nomination for a golden fist. Sends it flying over the boundary.
You can just see as Lee Montagna comes off for a spell, Andreas Everett has got the job following him. He's played all parts of the ground. Now he gets a chance in a run with roll. It's a lot of confidence shown by Mick Malthouse.
So free kick played against Reece Stanley, and it goes to big Robbie Warnock. Dominating the clearances, Carlton 9-4. Such is the dominance of this big man, Robbie Warnock. He decides he doesn't like anything that was ahead. Going to go back 30 to 40 metres to Jamieson. He's going to flick it across to Rowe. So all they'll do here is draw all the players. Well, in fact, none of the players would commit at all. They all just stay where they were as they played kick to kick. And that's a dangerous kick to not even a 50-50, really. It was actually favouring Sipos, who was in front. He lost it to Simpson, but eventually it is the Saints that are able to take it away. Nunes got the good service, kicked it to Rewald again. Arms, it looked like they were clearly chopped from here. Replay, I guess, in time will tell whether that was true or not. Menzel takes it back to the wing, and he finds Simpson, who's been dominant in this first quarter. His 10th disposal coming up. Waited before delivering to McLean, who's also played a big part. His 5th disposal. He's hit the scoreboard with just a minor so far, but has been reasonably productive, and that was a brilliantly weighted kick from Brock McLean, and Henderson comes out to take it. Now, Warnock's run back to the goal square. Stanley's gone with him. He decides to take a different route to goal. This is Yaron. Squeezed the kick out, and now the height of Warnock. No, it's drifted over his head, and Farron Ray takes the mark.
Tucked in the back pocket is Farron Ray. Now in his 184th game. Put some pressure on Dempster, but he sneaks around Warnock in the end. That's better. And Bruce takes the mark.
He's got out of jail there. That was the hospital handball.
Stanley's not out of jail here. In fact, he's gone back in.
Interesting bounce, wasn't it?
Gibbs and Murphy combine with Armfield. He goes wide to the outer side. Armfield, a late inclusion. Scotland out of the original lineup, and Dennis Armfield still sprinting down to Dempster. Claims him. Ball stays in play, however, and they'll get another chance, the Saints, through Bruce. Effective hand pass into the middle, and Joey Montagna. Players streaming down the ground as Montagna looks up towards the half-forward line. That's going to be okay. Lenny Hayes spears at the Rewald. Couldn't take it cleanly. Well trapped. In fact, there was a high tackle on Murphy, and he should be the recipient, and is, of the free kick.
Just costing themselves with some unforced errors here, the Saints.
McLean short. That's okay to Thomas. Daisy up towards the half-forward line. Henderson.
I reckon this is where Nick Riewoldt's got to be careful as well. You see a mark there to Everett,
who plays on, brings it back in, looking for Yaron, but well done.
It just
fisted clear over the line.
Nick Riewoldt's had his hands on his head, hands on his hips for the last 5 minutes because he's working himself to a standstill. But if the Carlton players are interchanging on him, they're not getting worked over as much as he is. And on that last lead, you could just see the pace had gone out of it. He went for the chest mark. He was a little tired. Ball got spoiled away.
Big numbers around the 50 and inside the arc for Carlton, but the ball's going to go into the open through Hayes. Riewoldt's got a couple to contend with, and he can't stop Doherty, just staying that metre or two in front. Feeding it out wide for Mitch Robinson. McLean demanding it at half-forward. He goes by Tui instead, who decides just to pump it long and strong. Wilt in the prime position to mark or spoil. Decides to mark, and he goes super short. Finds Snyder,
who's lifted his work rate. His man's been getting plenty of it as well, but he's also coming into it.
Just his third game of the season.
Stephen is the one, though. They need him to cut loose.
And he got rid of it at the right time. Armfield given a bit of latitude. Second play to go was Yaron. And then along the line, the ball pushed towards that boundary by Jamison. Armfield just braced himself for contact. Now this, well, okay, I thought the umpire might have put the onus on Armfield to actually show that he was trying to get rid of the ball, but he decides, Ray Chamberlain, he wants to just throw it up, get things moving again. Longer, down to Hayes, had the arm clipped, charging through Gibbs. Bit of a wild handball. Well done, Jones. Great determination. Snyder gains another 40. Stanley was his focus. And it's over and out once again.
Tell you what, I've been watching that Montagna and Everett match up as well. And Lee Montagna's trying to run him off his feet. He's had him end to end, and he's had 20-metre breaks at different stages. He's got to be very clear about the way he runs, Andreas Everett.
22.5 minutes gone. Menzel. Assistance required. It's a high ball back towards centre wing. Bruce, the spoiler from behind, pushes over the line.
Also got to be a little bit careful they don't become too predictable in going to Riewold almost every time. I notice they've put Reece Stanley down inside that forward 50. They need to be able to have another option. He's been left there 1 against 2 or 3 on too many occasions.
Here's an opportunity now for Akers. The young man gets a high ball. Riewold's got to go from behind. He recovers. He can't pick it up. He goes again. Gets taken to ground. Rows away.
And he's
Robinson's
furious.
Clear. And the Carlton side is out of trouble.
He gave the umpire a fierce spray then for Nick Riewold.
He's getting no love at all tonight from the umpire.
So the Blues out of trouble. Back towards Daisy Thomas, who marks in the middle.
And they're really making Dempster defend. He cannot intercept Mark at all because Daisy's doing the right thing. He's presenting as an option.
White gives it to Tui. Tui recovers after a slight fumble off to Yaron. He can have a shot from 46. He does, but he goes right across the face of goal and just sneaks it in for one behind.
Well, the Saints have butchered a few times inside their forward 50, but so too...
Is this a free kick, Jared?
Well, it does look as if he's had his
Does
hands
he
on
get
that
legged?
chap. And he got tripped there, but they don't often pay those ones.
He was not happy.
I reckon he was stiff the earlier one you claimed, Hutto, about the chopping of the arms. He had control of that ball.
Kick goes out to the wing, and Stanley helps both Jamieson and the footy over the boundary. Inside 50s, 18-7 in favour of Carlton. And those 18 entries have produced 8 scoring shots.
Yeah, so they're very lucky to be within 2 goals, Hutto. That's the bottom line.
Well, Casbolt used his body pretty strongly on Longer. He's certainly winning the hit-outs and the clearances, 11-7. So they've levelled it up a little bit, the Saints, digging in. They need to. Ray has got Curran in support, uses him, and then flicks it back. Akers got a bit of a shove, gets a second crack at it. Looks very uncertain, and then handed it over. Tui Walker had the legs pumping straight away as they charged. Tried to charge through the middle, stripped of it brilliantly. Dunstan there, Rowe, good support.
He was a bit stiff there, Dunstan. His desperation was magnificent, but he just knocked it a little bit too far away from Nick Riewoldt.
Not great service for Simpson. Spinning. It's been a pretty interesting few minutes of football at the moment. High ball from Nunes. Will go again. Riewoldt in front. Spoil came from Rowe. Well done. Good disciplined defence. Steadfast in his approach. And he got it across to Everett. Kicks it high for Gibbs, who drew some contact. Took the mark anyway. And Gibbs, I think, like all of us, thought maybe they should just calm down a little bit because he's not enjoying some of the mistakes being made.
An interesting phrase, had an interesting few minutes.
50.
Now we've got 50. And again, Nick is asking the question why.
Jared, you spoke about the inside 50s for St Kilda. They've gone in 8 times and 4 of them have gone to Riewoldt, so they're just making it way too obvious at the moment. Stanley needs to get a little bit deeper. Sipos as well. Need to start helping him out, start presenting a little bit more.
Yep.
Everett can go laterally one way or the other. He had players on both sides of him. He chose Gibbs. He's going to come back to Sam Rowe.
Well, they've got a 2-on-1 here, and Snyder's trying to cover both of them.
Yeah, he may go short to Ellard.
He gave that a bit of hang time.
He did, didn't he?
We would have been nervous sitting under that.
Back in the side this week, Ellard. A couple of changes for the Blues. Saints making 4.
Still got a 2-on-1 on the other side of the ground with Riewoldt. And Buckley did the right thing. He dragged Riewoldt away to allow it to go a little bit wider.
So Rowan Everett just picking up a few stats numbers here. So too Ellard. That trio has controlled the ball for the last minute or so. Plays on down the line and puts it straight over the line. Boy. 1 minute 25 remaining. Carlton got the first couple of goals of the game in lightning fashion. Had them on the board in probably 3 minutes, but since then, their goal scoring ability has dried up. They've had opportunities, 6 behinds. Riewoldt from the defensive side of centre wing. Rowe defends and smashes it over the line.
Bryce Gibbs with 12 disposals. A lot of those in the last few minutes uncontested.
Cade Simpson 11. The only 2 players in double figures.
Longo gets to it first, but Casbolt was able to get the timing right and bring it down to McLean. Now there's only 4 players in Carlton's forward half, so plenty of pace and space there for either team, but Menzel couldn't quite capture the footy. Gwilt knew what was ahead. And there's the illustration of what I was talking about. All the players on the wing, they come down and take their formation around the footy. This time there's 3 Carlton players inside the forward 50 and 4 St Kilda players. So they've got the extra back, the Saints. Now Stephen, he's in trouble here. Didn't do a lot to try and get rid of it. I think the Saints just trying to hang on to quarter time right at the moment.
He did have the saddle on though, and Armfield jumped on top of that saddle.
He's watching Stephen closely again. Gibbs.
Well, I'm not sure whether Alan Richards would be thinking about it, but Stephen straight on to Mark Murphy, I think needs to be thought about. Murphy's had 10 possessions now.
And he gave every chance for Longer to grab it though for the Saints. And they're able to work together, Snyder and Hayes, and get it back out to the wing. Now Curran with the clock down to 35 seconds. Stanley versus Jamieson. Jamieson straight to the line, doesn't go over. Stanley hemmed in all sorts. gets the handball back. They've kept it alive. De Hayes, fair to say there's a bit of uncertainty about the ball movement of St Kilda. Akers can go well.
Oh, wow.
And the youth of this St Kilda team is being reflected in some of their ball movement so far.
I think it also reflects really well on the defence that St Kilda, that Carlton are putting inside their forward 50. They've looked up a couple of times looking for targets and they just haven't been there.
Well, the siren about the sandwich isn't a bad thing, I think, for both sides, just to steady a fraction. Carlton 2-6-18, St Kilda 1-1-7, 19 entries to 8 for Carlton. So Mick Moulderhouse, even though they're in front by 11, has got his issues. One man he'd love to have out there is Chris Judd, but instead we're going to have him. He's going to join us next. Well, one thing that is in favour of St Kilda is that Carlton could well be a lot further ahead, and that's a massive plus for them.
Yeah, you're spot on. And Chris Yarran himself, I think, looked really dangerous with the ball in hand. He could have had a couple of goals. I think they've got to somehow wrest ascendancy through the middle, Jason. The man to do it is Stephen. He's being tagged by Arnfield. It's been a pretty hard tag. I just think that sometimes, as a coach, if you want to get the control, you've got to get a bit radical and start putting your best on their best.
Good start, though, from Longer. Gets it into Montagna, into the 50. Right him, Cowboy there. No free kick. And the umpire calls for a bounce. So the Saints attacking early in the second. Warnock up over the top of Longer. Stephen. Hayes trying to surge. Prolonged tackle from Doherty, and it's going to be a throw up.
I was lucky enough to get to the St Kilda huddle just then at quarter time, boys, and Richardson went straight up to Rewalt and they had a quick chat for about 30 seconds, and Rewalt was quite animated about what was going on in the forward line, so it'll be interesting to see their setup in this quarter.
And the rotation continues. Jamison is back for his 2 or 3 early Ks, and then it'll be Rowe to finish it off with 4 or 5 in the second half of the quarter.
And the numbers around the ball continues. Another ball up. Margin is 11.
Gee, the last thing you want to do is be giving free kicks away to blokes that are doing tagging jobs on your good players.
Yeah, but that'll be the frustration coming out. Someone's trying to knock him off the ball for Stephen.
I think it was.
Yep.
So Armfield goes up along the wing. St Kilda appear to have the best position, and they certainly do. And the former Roo there and Luke Delaney.
That's a nice kick.
Finds Hayes, who's going to swivel now and look for Rewalt. Makes that sharp lead. Everyone knew it was coming, but he got there anyway. Crashed the pack, and I reckon that might be one.
I don't think he expected that. This might be a square up.
It's a square up.
Didn't come in the first turn.
There actually, I think we might find there is some contact at the head. Just having a look at what took place. Here we go.
Cade Simpson feels hard done by. He was courageous backing in.
It was the arm over the back from Jamison.
Geez, that was great vision, though. Love to be able to see it again, but you could see what Lenny Hayes could see, and it looked, for all intents and purposes, like an open field for Nick Rewalt. But the way Carlton closed down that space was really good.
So Rewalt leans back on this one and still hits it perfectly for the Saints' second and his second. And St Kilda within 5 points here.
Well, it was a good response by the Saints defence. It was Delaney who took the mark, intercept mark, clean mark, and laid it off. And the ball was a smart kick down to Lenny Hayes, and this is what happened. Look at that closing down of the space. It drew the free kick, and it was a good conversion. Here's that shot once again. Now, Lenny Hayes thinks he's just going to kick it out and he's going to take a chest mark, but well done to Cade Simpson. He did a really good job. It was only a bit of an errant arm from Jamison that gave away the kick.
You still don't like it, Jason, do you?
I just thought it was, I mean, the defender's trying to make some sort of contest. That's all he was doing. I don't think he restricted him or actually caught him high. In the end, it was just a brush.
Warnock and Longer. One by the former. Ellard goes dancing through the middle. Gibbs picks it up now, holds the hand pass for a moment, then gets it off to Simpson. He's in trouble. Back pedals to McLean. McLean's hand pass smothered. Well done by the young Saints. Longer gets the hand pass away. Now they've got a chance to get it towards Rewalt. He's under the pump. The hand pass drops a little short. Still in the middle of the ground. So they've really gone nowhere quickly. A chance now for Carlton. Big Levi has it now. Casbold to the runners out wide. The grab was there, but he couldn't take it. Murphy. Back towards Casbolt again, who's going to run out of room, and he sees it go over the line.
He got the shock of his life a moment ago, Levi Casbolt. He was loitering 15 metres off the contest, and there was an amazing hand pass from Cade Simpson, who was lying on his back, that went straight to his feet. He goes, oh, it's the ball.
Reminded me of Buddy Franklin's last goal up in Sydney when Lewis Jetta just knocked it out to him. Didn't have a clue it was coming.
Warnock couldn't take it. Hayes could have copped a shove. Comes out towards McLean. McLean goes up towards the half-forward line. Strong grab by Ellard.
Once again, Daisy Thomas, if you're wondering why you're not seeing him, he's playing full forward and he's making Dempster.
Well, we're going to see him now. He and Dempster are up there. It goes over the back. Thomas is the first to recover, but again runs out of room.
He's only had the 3 possessions, Jared.
Yep.
It's a valuable man if you think he's doing a
Well, Dempster is a valuable man. He is dead set stopping him from the intercept mark.
Can they convert? Well, they've got it in this forward zone. Warnock tries to get rid of Long and then poke it out the back, but it goes straight towards Schneider. He gets it away quickly towards a teammate there in Billings. The young man goes wide and long. Anthony forced to belt it clear towards Jones. Couldn't take it initially. The door opens now for Walker. He goes wide up towards the half-forward line. Now an opportunity for Carlton inside 50. They've got it now, but he cops a decent old shove in the back. Daisy. Called to play on and bent back through the goals. What do you think of that, says Menzel. He gets his first. Carlton get their third. 3-6, 2-1.
Looking forward to the third eye for the look at this goal when we get a chance.
I thought it was an interesting decision by Yaron to play on, to take the advantage when you've got a set shot on only a very slight angle. He's lucky that he had Menzel there, and in the end, we see the third eye. That's brilliant. A brilliant angle to capture it from, but I reckon you're going to kick the set shot more often than you're going to kick that little banana on the run.
We've seen a few, haven't we, in the last few weeks?
Yeah, one of the deadly sins, as you know, Jason, when you handball at the bloke in the pocket, he's got to kick goal of the year.
Lucky he did.
I think that's why Daisy was a little bit, he was going, just settle down, fellas.
Well, they have lifted their intensity this quarter, St Kilda. At the moment, it's a goal each. Yaron, clean bowled, so too was Ray. And leading all comers onto the wing was Mitchie Robinson. Handball, blues everywhere there. Simpson just fends off a couple of tackles. And now McLean, so they've been forced back to Buckley on half-back.
Good switch.
Now they can spring forward. Everett's been able to get out wide. He's got nothing in the next line coming at him, and he's already committed to moving off his mark.
This
now,
is a good lead.
Casbolt, who's a terrific grab of the footy. Bruce let him get inside. He kicks in the Ellard direction. He's able to swivel and swing his way through a couple and put another brilliant goal on the board. Menzel is on fire at Etihad Stadium. The number 2 with 2 in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and they need to start getting some reward for this because it's 22-10 now, the inside 50s. That was a great mark, a great lead by Levi Casbolt, but Josh Bruce, he just overcommitted. If you can't get there to spoil, you've got to stay defensive side, and the fact that he allowed Casbolt to play on enabled the chip kick to Menzel, who kicked the goal.
Pretty handy conversion. This kid's got heaps of talent. And Blue supporters should be thrilled that they're watching this young man present himself. He is the future.
Yeah, exciting couple of minutes for the boy from Central Districts in the Sandful.
That tells the story. The second quarter kicking efficiency, double.
Take 2 in the middle. 30 plays 13. Carlton just starting to sneak away. Warnock to McLean. Stephen on his hammer. Jack's first to recover. Goes again and he's still going. Head down, bottom up off to Lenny Hayes. Shenton gets it back inboard. Now an opportunity for the Saints to go in towards the half-forward line. Where's Rewalt? Rewalt's there at the back, but he couldn't quite complete the mark. Shot out quickly, but it's an opportunity for Jamison to get it to Tui, and he does. Off to McLean. McLean thought about giving the hand pass, and he almost dropped the ball in the process. White goes long.
Great running, Murphy.
Murphy's away. And they're all running. Dennis Armfield is sprinting down the half-forward flank with 3 bounces. Then he spears a pass in towards the half-forward line. Doherty takes the mark.
That is great transition. All started with a spoil at the other end. We saw Jamison go back and start on Revolt beginning of the quarter. It was Rowe that time that was having his go. They're alternating. He got the good spoil on, and then it was a long outlet kick to Mark Murphy. He released the flying Dennis Armfield. Now a shot for goal.
Playing just his second game for the season and looking for his first score. Kicking from around 46 metres. Looks pretty good. Daisy Thomas likes it in the square. He likes it as well. He gets his first. Carlton surge further ahead.
Well, once again, Jason, you could argue the Saints a little bit one-dimensional with Nick Riewoldt, the sole target down there. Reece Stanley just cannot get himself involved in the forward target area.
What about the pace of Armfield when he exploded?
He's been a flying machine for years, and he's a good addition. But I thought Murphy worked really hard. He's been hard tagged by Cutton, and he's had to work for his possessions, and he's getting plenty of them.
That's how it was done. Armfield streaking along that City wing. And young Doherty kicks his first goal for Carlton, just the second in his career. Longer, just trying to lift his rate in the middle. Down for Hayes. And Montagna next off the line. Buckley, right at the coalface, so too Longer. Getting down and dirty for a ruckman. High kick in towards full forward. That's strong presentation from Aaron Sipos.
Just the one disposal to date, Jared, just the one hand pass. This is a man that's taken a long time to work his way back into the lineup.
That's true, and they've made him work, and that's exactly what will determine whether or not he becomes a permanent feature and has a permanent job as an AFL footballer.
He's shown plenty of ability at times.
He's got heaps of ability, and he can kick the ball. I mean, he should just be able to slot this one straight through. He's that sort of kick. Got to deal with the moment, of course, but he has got all the ability in the world.
3 goals and 20 disposals in the VFL last week. As the boys said, was made to go back and earn his spot in the senior team. He goes back. The distance was never going to be an issue. Unfortunately, the accuracy is. And the margin reduced by just the 1 to now 22 points here at Etihad Stadium. Monday night footy. Blues fans particularly will be enjoying what they're seeing so far.
Yes, Sipos last played in round 19 last year, so he'll be delighted to be back as Simpson goes towards Murphy.
Once again, running back with the flight of the ball into that space behind, and it's worked again for the Blues. They're out.
The old Murphy-Gibbs combination is a beauty. Wider towards McLean, up towards Doherty. Fisted away from him for another throw.
Interesting that he's playing forward, Doherty.
Yeah,
Made his name in defence.
He had the extra role on Nick Riewoldt in the first quarter. He must love that end of the ground.
Warnock, Stanley. Warnock almost on his knees, just pokes it forward.
Saints are just throwing Farron Ray behind the footy. He's just sitting deep as a spare in defence, just trying to put a stop on the Blues' fast breaks.
The big men go at it again. Schneider's out the back there with Everett. He's got to wait. Sam Rowe sets himself. Riewoldt to spoil. Gibbs continues to lurk. Riewoldt continued to chase. That was good. Everett off towards McLean.
Okay.
Comes wide. This is a little dangerous for Buckley. You're caught, Bucks. But he does get the hand pass away. It opens for Riewoldt. He gets another one clear now towards Dunstan. Back in the side this week. He goes short to Montagna, who wants to play on, and he does, because he's got a couple of players on the other side of the ground, and he picks out Schneider.
He's now on the identical angle on the other side of the ground, but probably 10 metres further out from goal. I think Lee Montagna's, he's a beautiful kick of the foot. He's just got to go back and kick that set shot.
That was a good turnover by the Saints. Excellent pressure. Riewoldt worked hard on a number of occasions. And you just saw why they're so excited with what they've recruited in Dunstan. Under enormous pressure, he still had the capacity to look up, assess the scenario, and get it out to Montagna.
Adam Schneider hoping to give himself a birthday present. He turns 30 today. Kicking from 45, he ambles in. And that's not the present he had in mind.
I bet Lee Montagna wishes he had the shot now.
One behind.
Quick kick in from Tui, and the Blues are away again. So they've been let off the hook here a couple of times in this second term, the Blues. 5-6 plays 2-3. Rowe takes the most conservative option, finds Tui, who looks anything but conservative, with that beard and tats down the left arm. Goes super short, too short to Walker, who reacted well to the umpire's call. Rowe back to a 50-50 on the wing. Robinson as committed as ever. Brilliant pick up by Tui, but then he was picked up. Oh, look at Ray.
Razor.
Ray's on the move. He wants to get in amongst this.
50 metres coming.
Printed.
Take it down, Ray. Take it down. Hey.
It's getting willing.
Yes, Ray now he's just warming down a bit, Sandy, with the run back.
Well, they just desperately need to kick this. Ray's given them the opportunity.
Everett just going overboard.
And you just can't keep giving away opportunities like this to score goals.
So it's Blake Acres comes in, the 18-year-old, for his first goal in AFL football. He's put it through.
He'll be happy with that because he's had a couple of interesting disposals of the footy leading up to that. He's getting a bit of it though. He's up to 8 possessions. He's now got a goal to his name. Finds himself in a lot of ball-winning opportunities, but that was terrific. It was a good chase. There's the force the throw, and then he got the courtesy of the 50-metre penalty because Andreas Everett just lost the plot.
Well, Akers has got them all talking down at the Saints with Dunstan. That's the double benefit that they've got for trading Big Boy McAvoy to the Hawks. So
Crowd enjoyed that too.
Yeah, they enjoyed it. So if they can get 2 midfielders that will play 200 games for them, you'd argue that they've done quite well.
He's looked a bit green tonight, Akers, Jared, but he's
waiting for it. I was waiting for
You're
it.
better than that.
Murphy up towards the half-forward line. Next you'll be saying if he gets out wide, Hutto's got hectares. Schneider in trouble. Taken to ground. And we'll have another stoppage. .21 plays 36. Almost 16 minutes gone in this second term. Murphy again.
Classic work from Murphy.
Long up towards Menzel. Couldn't complete the mark. The Shenton hand pass was okay initially. Dempster to Gwilt on the last line. He goes across to Bruce, who marks in the opposite pocket. Bruce wants to play on. Look out, Lenny. Simpson's at the back. Hayes gets away. Spearing it in towards Akers. Couldn't take the mark. Warnock, the look-away hand pass to Doherty was okay. Off to Murphy again. Little flick. The lead is on. The pass was good. And the mark is taken by 2-goal Menzel.
And Akers will look at that vision and see what Menzel did, which was lead straight through the ball and didn't alter his speed, whereas Akers, he ran at the ball and then tried to steady and tried to slow up as it was coming into him, which allowed his opponent to come in and spoil.
Well, he's kicked a couple of sensational goals so far tonight, Menzel. This is a set shot, and he's gone back further than Michael Holding.
He likes a runner.
He'll be with us shortly. He started his run. Kicks from 51 metres.
Can kick him.
He certainly can. He's got 3, and all in this second quarter.
And he can kick them when the heat is on, like he did against the West Coast. Have a look at this for a clearance, though, from Mark Murphy. He uses his body, pushes his opponent away, and runs into the space. It was a nice direction from the ruckman as well. And that's what set up this opportunity for them to goal.
Beautifully weighted kick out in front. Didn't break stride, Menzel.
Well, no one doubted this young man had talent. The question was whether or not his body was going to hold up in terms of where he was going to be recruited. With a knee injury early in his junior career, but Carlton took the plunge on him, and he's certainly starting to show that talent. So Kilda need to respond to his 3 goals in the quarter.
And he got hit targets, only a young player, but coming off that half-back line.
He'd have loved the right foot there, Jared.
He would have.
Jimmy Webster.
It's almost a forgotten skill these days, the opposite peg, particularly for left-footers.
Dunstan happy to ride out the tackle of Gibbs. Jolted out of there to Hayes. His head was spinning looking for a teammate.
Did well, Hayes.
Found one in Dunstan, but again, it's a crowded 50, and Doherty's able to take it. Bryce Gibbs looks full of running for Carlton tonight too. He gave them an option there. In the end, it was a different path he chose. It was Buckley.
Not his best kick, Doherty, but he reads the ball really well, and that's why Mick Malthouse has got him playing this extra player in defence role. He gets where the ball's going.
Hayes along the line for Rewalt. Back to Jones and then to Ray. It's a pretty low percentage kick, but he's found his target.
He's got the high contact.
Jack Billings is the man. A little pat in the head from Mick Rewalt, who becomes the ball boy. And, speaking of young talent, Jack Billings only 18 years of age. His ball usage has been very good so far in his short career. Although his shots for goal haven't been so good. 4 goals, 6.
Did you know Mick Rewalt was a left-hander?
I didn't. We both looked at each other when he threw that ball back.
Either that or he's ambidextrous.
Not a bad strike from Billings. He's already celebrating. What a beauty from Billings. And the Billings method there to put that through takes Carlton back to a 15-point lead.
Well, they're staying in touch on the scoreboard purely simply because they're making the most of some opportunities. They have missed a couple, but 4 goals, 3 now they've kicked, and a couple of really good ones. This one from Billings, he probably would have taken the mark anyway. He got the arm from Rowe coming across the scone. It's a beautiful finish. He actually got a decent clip on the forehead, didn't he?
They're in that dangerous zone, though, the Saints, aren't they? The Blues haven't put them away. They've had some opportunities, but they're just holding on. And they've got some youth, and they've got some experienced players who we know early in the year when they got 4 wins up have melded pretty well. In fact, 3 wins. And this one could just turn into their 4th if things run for them.
Big night for St Kilda with their 3 first-round draft picks appearing for the first time, which is great news. Dunstan. A high ball up towards the centre wing area, belted towards the boundary line. Jones may get there just in time. He does. He keeps it in play. Goes back to Nunes. Nunes gives it to Ray. Ray down towards half forward. Get your skates on, Stanley.
I'm not sure where Farron was kicking that, but clearly I think Nick Rewalt was doing the dummy lead. He went one way. Farron Ray was looking for it. And then Nick ducked back.
Billings, Dunstan and Akers, those first-round draft picks from last year. All playing for the first time together. McLean out the back door. Goes over the head of Casbolt up towards Henderson. Casbolt caught by Nunes. Tries to flick it clear towards Doherty. Henderson goes again. Nunes persists. Montagna in for the assist as well. Bruce is at the bottom of the pack. Henderson has got him locked up. He's going nowhere.
Did it well then, Henderson, didn't he? Not to give away the free.
Yep. 21 and a half gone, second turn.
Rewalt up the ground into the ruck, it would seem.
And the Blues can't shake them free as yet. Farron Ray off to Jones. Trouble there for Curran.
Well done,
He's got to go again. Buckley persisted. Jones almost dropped it onto the boot. Jack Stevens is running wide. He leaves it in the end. Called to play on.
That's got to be 15, that one.
That was Dunstan, who was put under the hammer. Buckley will go again. Untidy, but effective.
Good pressure from the Saints.
High ball.
They've let it out, though.
Well marked by Ellard.
Timely mark, wasn't it, from Ellard, as the Saints were starting to tighten the screws.
Everett all on his own forward.
Simpson goes to him. Delaney left his man to go up there, and it's a fruitful decision. Oh, spinning around. There's a bit of pain involved in that little pressure on Robinson. Off the ground that time by Jones. Intuitive kick out wide. Playing in front Armfield. Turns to the boundary knowing it was there to help him if needed. And it was needed. The ball over and out. The Saints have really amped this up now.
You called it well, Hutto, as we see that collision between Dempster and Robinson. If Luke Delaney didn't leave Nick Rewalt and attack the footy, Everett would have got a clean possession, then would have gone 1 out to Rewalt.
McLean had to release it straight away. Did to Simpson. Hasn't had quite as big an influence in this quarter. Neither is this man. But it's time now. Yaron burning things up. He's got 2 bounces under his belt. A third, a fourth. And now he just strolls in. That's classic Chris Yaron. That's the sort of stuff that electrifies the Carlton fans, the Carlton players. And he's kicked his second of the night. And the Blues lead by 21 points.
We just saw an amazing cruising speed from Chris Yarran, because he had Lee Montagna chasing, who had the head down, running as hard as he possibly could. You have a look here, when he goes, he just takes off, and it's Montagna who has to go with him. And he is just looking back, just checking that he's okay. He's doing it easy. He even slows down. He just steadies before the kick beautifully. Couple of slow steps.
Didn't even need that last bounce, did he?
No.
It's one of the great highlights, but it was an overcommitment at the stoppage, and it was McLean, I think, who took the ball out of the ruck. So it wasn't too much science involved. It was just give it to Chris and away you go.
The sort of goal that can be a real game breaker. As Carlton stretched their lead once again, Etihad almost threw it out. Gibbs did get it out towards Menzel. Doherty smothered. Blues go again. Hayes an opportunity. Jones there with him. Murphy.
She's a pressure so much better in this quarter.
Jones. Yeah, obviously a good discussion at quarter time as Tui loses it. Simpson tries to give it back. They're really under the pump here at the moment. Back to Tui, a high ball up towards the half-forward line. Bruce and Shenton both chasing for the Saints. They see it over the line with Daisy Thomas, and we've got a throw in.
Well, the work rate's been really superb for the Saints. They've just really upped it up into overdrive. Their skill level is down a little bit. They've just lacked a little bit of polish. And Carlton have swooped a couple of times.
21 points is the margin, favouring the Blues with just over 5 minutes remaining. Here's Murphy again. He's been prolific ball winner tonight. McLean had it on a string for a moment, then lost it. A high ball is taken here for the Blues by White.
Wasn't his finest work there, Billy Longer. Worked hard, but just slammed it on the boot.
Oh, I wonder if Billy's thinking ahead. It's his 21st birthday today. Here's Schneider on the boundary line. Down the line he goes. Kicks it beautifully. And now it's going to come to a grinding halt for Akers, because Everett combines with Walker and the Blues go charging inside 50 once again. Shenton was there to affect the spoil. Daisy Thomas! Beautiful raving from Daisy, and he's back in town.
It's been a lean first half from Daisy Thomas, just the 4 possessions. But that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant snap. He goes and tells Dempster all about it. Blake Akers just a double mistake. He played on, got caught, and then he tapped the ball back in instead of taking it out. There's the fly from Simpson over Bruce. Didn't quite hang on to it. But it needed to be taken out of bounds. Instead, the ball comes back in. That is a very quick release of the footy and a great snap.
Well, he didn't have time to worry about his goal kicking on the snaps, which have been a bit better than his set shot so far this year, Dale Thomas.
Young Akers would like his time back again, I think, for us, just to be able to take that one out. Probably didn't stop playing on in the first place. Once he played on, just needed to take that out and make sure he got a stoppage.
Gee, Carlton's goals have been a proverbial highlight reel tonight, haven't they? With Menzel and Yarran and now Thomas. They lead by 27 points. As the Saints take it forward, Walker. He ran out of real estate. He's over the line. Of course, they've still got Jeff Garlett to insert into the action later on. Looks like Brock McLean's getting some work down there, Moons. I don't know if you can see what the issue is from where you are. Back to that in a moment. Longer. Doherty and Sipos. Simon White frees up row. Wanted to give it to one of the kickers coming out of defence. Doherty, bit of a standoff on the wing. Just got away from Allard. There's a free kick going the way of Buckley.
Clint Jones has been pushed onto Yarran. He's about the only one who's got the speed to compete.
That was Henderson charging out.
Delaney's done a good job on him. He's only had the 4 possessions, Henderson, for 1 behind.
It's a good fight back, because he had a pretty horrible day last week against Jared Roughhead, and he really has been one of their excellent defenders.
I'll tell you who else has done a good job. Andreas Everett has kept Lee Montagna to just 8 kicks in the first half.
Make that 9 as he kicks it back to the wing. Playing in front was Rowe. Pretty diligent job, even though he didn't take the mark. Jamison gains a couple of extra before he kicks out wide again. Chases on. Menzel with a swivel. At the high contact.
Just went over the top of him, Jimmy Webster.
It was an interesting kick from Lee Montagna. It was the kick of a bloke who had been tagged well and just wanted to get it on his boot.
And he decides to kick to the man charging out, and that's Chris Yarran. Chris Yarran with 2 goals.
Just a half a dozen possessions. This will be possession number 7. I'd love to get the ball in his hands a little bit more frequently.
A couple of goals, though, if he can slot 3, it's a pretty good first half of footy. And he's every chance from here.
After missing last week with a hamstring, enjoying the extra couple of days the Blue has had. Comes in at goal for his 3rd. Chris Yarran. He's added more than just a touch of class to this Carlton lineup tonight. 3 times he's hit the scoreboard. And the Blues now lead by 33 points. Another outstanding goal.
Yeah, he's been excellent. He's such an entertainer. It's just worth paying the price of the ticket to have a look. This is a bit of a stiff one for Webster because he was essentially tripped by Menzel tripping himself or sliding over. And then a nice little set-up kick. Dangerous couple when they work together.
It's some real life to the Carlton forward line, hasn't it?
McLean, we understand, getting a bit of work on a thumb, but he appears to be okay, so we expect to see him back.
He's just about to come back on, boys. It's that left thumb, he just needed to get it strapped. He was grimacing a fair bit, though.
Good on you, Moons. Thank you for that. 27 plays 60, so the scoreboard now telling a pretty definite story. Here's Thomas again. Daisy onto the left boot, and it ricochets away from the shin of Farron Ray. Another throw in.
Just landed on it, didn't he?
Awkwardly.
I think he got stepped on there, guys.
Oh, accidentally, Moons.
Oh, well, you know.
Of course. Of course.
If you see it fall out, you just step on it. Hope it's not one of your teammates.
All right, that's enough, Moons. Here's Buckley. Backpedaling a little. Carlton in control at the moment, wide to Gibbs.
Good evening to our young viewers tonight, the young players that are watching.
Thank you. And Public Relations Officer Cameron Mooney. Back to the game, and Ellard has the football just inside 50.
It's an identical spot from where Yarran just kicked the goal.
Yeah.
So if we can go back and slot this, it really opens up a great break for the Blues.
This to make it a 39-point margin.
Sandy, that had 13 inside 50s for 7 goals straight in this quarter.
So can Ellard add to that? A stammering approach before he steadies and kicks from 48. Gee, that looks good. That looked really, really good, and it would have looked exciting to him. A big, big goal. So late in the second term, just over a minute remaining, and David Ellard gets his 8th goal for the season, his first for the night. The boy originally from Swan Districts, and Carlton moves further ahead. 66 plays 27.
And it's all been about the pace, the ground level forwards rather than the marking forwards. Casbolt's taken a couple of nice grabs. Henderson really has been not a factor whatsoever. But they've taken their opportunities either by running it in like Yarran or by some swift work at ground level by the others.
So again, captain and coach in heavy conversation. Nick Revolt and Alan Richardson. And the scores from turnovers there reflected by a pretty significant margin. 6 goals to 3 in that area. Dunstan, Robinson tries to hem him in, but ball stays in play. Armfield just flicked it back to McLean. A bit of experience edge around the contest. Provided by Brock McLean.
Good hands.
Was. Got him away, Jack Stephen. Pumps the ball up into the 50. Stanley got a cruel bounce. Jamison was onto it quickly. Montagna was able to enter the fray. Now a chance for Hayes. Just paddled to the voice of Snyder. Looking for a free.
Didn't have it.
Didn't get it. Maybe the umpire thought that he was playing for it. Hurried kick away from Yarran. Again puts the St Kilda defence under pressure. It was centimetres away from being Mark Murphy's, but well done, Farron Ray.
He might have been playing for it, but he was still there.
It was there.
Longer, back to Gwilt. He spears it wide.
Well
Stanley's
done,
on the bike, but as
Read it
Gerard said,
beautifully.
anticipation, a feature there from Zach Tui. So the margin 39 points, 8 goals to 3 goals 2 in this second quarter in favour of Carlton. And this young Saint team who got smashed last week by 145 points, really under pressure at half-time to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again. 10-6, 66 Carlton to St Kilda 4-3-27. The margin 39 points here at Etihad Stadium. And now let's go to Eddie and the boys back in the studio.
Thanks, look, you knocked it on the head there, boys. Through the middle, they need to get some more numbers going through there. Montagna needs to get his hand on it. Probably more forward at the centre as well, because we know he's such an amazing kick inside 50. They need to get young Jack Stephen into the game. Somehow they need to find in the ball. The biggest ones for me down forward are Stanley and Sipos. They've only had the 3 possessions between them for the half. They need to give Rewalt a bit of a chop out. Need to start taking some marks, making sure there's other targets down there instead of Rewalt.
Matt Weller is the sub for St Kilda, you saw there. Jeff Garlett the sub. Both starting subs still out there watching on at the moment.
As you can see, Hutto, Stephen has been pushed into the goal square. So if they're going to be tagging him, he's now going to play the role as a small forward.
Just the 7 possessions for him.
Yep, he needs to finish his day with 3 goals, and that would be a pretty good second half.
Stanley's another one that must lift in that forward line as we go into the second half. 39 points is the margin, favouring the Blue Baggers. Warnock wins it out, and this is what they've been doing so far throughout this game. Out to the running Murphy, longer up towards the forward line. Pressure now on Bruce, can't take it effectively, cleanly, and the door will open for Carlton again. There's been a whistle. Murphy, centering ball is okay. Gibbs lumbers clear, then pumps it long and high, almost there, and a free kick on the very last line of defence. You can hear the razor. Little nudge in the back, and Dempster takes it on the last line of defence.
Now, they were ferocious down there, Sandy. They won a 4-quarter effort, the Blues. They were demanding it of each other, and now we see whether or not the talk turns into deeds.
You could hear that from outside the rooms, could you?
You could hear it on the way through.
I can tell you what, you've got no pull. Couldn't get in the rooms. They're winning. They're winning.
I knocked. I was polite, and I was allowed in 4 minutes later, but not under those time frames.
I'll tell you who could move, Jared. That was the security guard. Yes. He didn't want to be shot. Anyway, back to the game. Rowe couldn't take it. Rewalt taken to ground. Oh.
You mentioned Reece Stanley's. We see Nick Rewalt a little bit shaky after that one. He's copped one. Just the 1 possession for Reece Stanley, just the 2 for Aaron Sipos, a couple of forwards that need to get their hands on it.
Bruce now with the opportunity of giving those forwards a chance. Goes down into the forward line, that's going to be okay. Schneider takes the mark.
He wants someone to come at him.
Get another look at that Rewalt-Murphy incident in just a moment.
He's a little shaken, Nick Rewalt.
He's the last one they can afford to lose at the minute. Here it is again.
He looked like he was trying to pull up Mark Murphy, didn't he?
He realised straight away.
Kind of changed direction in front of him.
So Schneider with an opportunity to open the scoring in this second half. 45-degree angle. That gives you a perfect shot of what lies ahead for him.
Good kick.
And he strikes it well. He strikes it extremely well, and that might just get them going. Schneider gets his first, and the Saints get their 5th.
Nick Rewalt coming off for a spell. So he just changes direction and down he goes, and Murphy looks for all intents and purposes like he's trying to get out of the way, Mark Murphy. He stops. Contact's inevitable, isn't it? But that shook him.
Gee, it did.
Just hit him really flush front on, didn't it?
Well, that's the type of incident that can be so dangerous. So the game's been pretty good at trying to ensure it doesn't happen, and Nick looks much better now.
Well, it looks like he's having words with the dog, so that mightn't be necessarily a good sign.
He's just gone under the guys, so he might even be doing a bit of a test. Who knows?
I think he is, Moons.
Hayes gets them out of the centre. Oh, Snyder got swamped. Stanley, the little give was good. Curran pumps it high to the square. They come from all angles. Tracking it back hard was Billings. Sipos was there as well. Montagna now underneath all of it. Eventually, though, it comes loose, and it's Dunstan that strikes. He's kicked his first, and the Saints have been able to whack 2 up on the board in an instant.
Well, it's brought the game alive, Jared. A couple of quick goals for the Saints. They're the ones that are switched on.
Big response, isn't it? And
how does this ball come out?
He just forces his way through here. And I think the Blues were waiting on the whistle. They were umpiring the game, and that's what you got blokes in yellow or green out there for. They're the ones with the whistle. and they just stopped and spectated. That is just a horrible mistake by the Blues.
God, like Luke does. He was clapping the moment it left the boot.
So
Just ripped it out of them.
39 points back to 27. And there are the three boys playing together tonight. The first round draft picks. Good to see them, and we'll certainly follow their career. Some heavy work in the middle. Billy Longer went through like a freight train.
I'm glad he missed Armfield.
Yeah,
He would have put him into next week.
Do you get the feeling that Alan Richardson might have just opened up the vocal cords at half-time?
I think he might have. Longer tries to go again. Jones is his target. Mitch Robinson at the bottom. Up towards the half-forward line. Curran's kick is okay. Schneider in trouble. Picks it up, loses it. Blues in numbers, but the Saints have got the runners. Jack Stephen. Goal number 3, is it? Jones watches it bounce through to the right for one behind.
As we were talking about earlier in the piece, that ability to have an excellent opposite foot has cost the Saints a goal there as well. He was going flat chat, was Jack Stephen, but still couldn't get the ball on the boot properly.
Quick kick out to halfback. Now he gets another opportunity. And Bruce is able to, he's right on the line. Oh, hesitation.
Hospital handball.
Yeah, did nobody's just as he was getting it back to make the great escape. The umpire had blown the whistle.
Well, this is going to test the Blues now. 26 points up, so still got a nice, comfortable lead. But they've got to match their
Hello,
intensity
got a free kick here.
and not give away dumb free kicks.
He fell like a girl. What a great comeback. Proper clean. Perhaps saying he didn't quite wear the contact as he should have.
He was lucky. I think it was lucky that Mike was down on that occasion. Just a quick one down here. Rewalt still yet to come back up from down underneath.
We're not that politically correct in women's round either, as Snyder comes in to have the shot for goal from just inside the 50. Big kick this for the game.
Disappointing.
No,
look at his finishing position was down on one knee.
Yeah, he slipped, I think. That's twice he slipped. The last time he went for a mark, thinking it was Nick Rewald, he slipped as well.
Oh, it was actually retaliation because he dropped the shoulder into McLean, who was following Lenny Hayes, and then a little push, he went to ground very easily, just sucked him in.
Delaney spoiled the ball over the boundary line in the meantime.
So there's the retaliator that gets caught.
Blues struggling at the moment to get it out of defence.
Let's see what happens here. Can the Saints get another one and really bring this game to life? Warnock's under the pump, loses the footy. Joey Montagna gets a quick kick. Travels only to Everett, who gives it to McLean, who gives it to Murphy. Now to Yaron.
Good pressure again.
Blues away, holding at the moment. Opportunity for Menzel.
They're starting to hunt the man and the ball, though, now. The Saints, they're the ones that have taken control of this situation, and the Blues are feeling the pressure.
Was what we were just talking about. They conceded far too much uncontested possession in the first half. They've got to put the pressure on.
Everett gives it off to Yaron. Short to McLean.
And you can't just do it for 5 minutes. You've got to do it for the whole second half.
It's drifted down towards centre wing. Has a look down the line. And that's where he heads. Casbolt is a target. And this is a big bullock.
And Billy Longer has got to get fair income. If he's going to hold his spot on the side, he's still a young kid, but you just can't allow somebody to waltz around you like that.
Yaron should have got Henderson then. He didn't. And now Dempster will hopefully switch play and do the tidying up for the Saints. From the last line of defence, out wide towards Akers. He's got to beat a couple as the young man, playing in his first game. Nunes, a good tackle on Walker.
Big fan of Billy Longer. I thought he was a really good pickup. Saw him in his brief appearances up in Brisbane. He's a really good worker. He's hard at it. But on that occasion, and that occasion there again, he's just not bracing with his legs. He's up against bigger guys. He's got to use his legs to hold his position.
Fitted out well, though, and Billings, interesting handball to Stephen. Did he get a shove in the back there? Ball over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. So the margin reduced to 25. A couple of smart goals, and then a couple that went begging as well for the Saints. So they've dominated much of this third term. The Blues' response will be interesting. Dunstan just eases the ball up to Billings again. He's starting to find the right places to station himself at the moment. Jack Billings, number 3 draft pick, pumps it deep inside the 50. Still no Rewalt down there. So it's
well done.
A lot of variety as far as the scoring options are concerned, not the most orthodox of options, you have to say, as Montagna has the flying shot for goal and misses. Margin back to 24 now.
And Hutto, still no Riewoldt come back up yet, guys, but saying that, they've actually looked a little bit more dangerous without him on the field.
Yeah. A couple of early goals. Here's Casbolt. Saints, incidentally, with the inclusion of a couple of players this week, having used 34 players so far this season. Gibbs looks wide to Armfield. Late inclusion for Heath Scotland. He backpedals to Yarran and he'll switch play. Will he go to Sam Rowe? Spends a little too much time thinking about it. And now eventually goes back to Casbolt, who can't get there in time.
We've got a player down behind players, a Kilda player. That's Luke Dunstan. Yeah. He went down pretty heavily.
Riewoldt back out, Moons. That's good news for Saints.
Oh, he's coming off. Simon White just gave a front-on bump.
So we'll check on him with Cam Mooney in a moment, and also Nick Riewoldt. Warnock's kick goes down towards the half-forward line, only as far as Delaney, who'll cut across to Jones. In towards Ray. He'll go even wider. He's in a spot of bother, but he's going to get out of it to Dempster.
That epitomised the way the Blues are going about at the moment. Mitch Robinson hardly ever lets a tackle go or slip like he did there. Yeah, they're off the pace. Right of screen, you'll see the first bump and then the second bump.
He gets turned by Menzel, and that brings him front on as Simon White's coming across. Didn't look anything too untoward.
And he Hayes. And there's Longer. He adjusted the kick really well then.
Good work.
To find Billings, showed some good touch. Billings busy again, called on by the umpire. Into the pocket, Sipos in his sights, but Simon White with the spectacular spoil.
You're going to jump that high, you may as well take the hanger.
The big spoil sport there.
It's too good a leap for a punch. We just see
Doctor's busy at the moment.
Yeah.
The patient queue was ever growing.
Simon White was on Jesse White last week and did a very good job.
And is that out on the full? Yes, it is.
Another young player from the Blues. They're hoping to build their future on.
Just interesting with Riewoldt, guys. He obviously come back up, but sitting on the bench. Usually by now you'd think he'd be up around just trying to get back on the ground, but still spending that little bit of time on the bench, so you've got to start to wonder if there's something wrong.
The Saints have reacted to Menzel's good first half, and they've put their #1 defender, small defender Dempster, onto him.
Here's a look again at what happened to Nick Riewoldt.
Maybe just a compression of the head and neck.
Just appeared to be out of it for just a second or so after clashing with Murphy.
No chance. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Jack. Clear behind me.
No sign of Maverick Weller warming up. He's warming up a little bit down there.
Well, that's the interesting. They could use that 20-minute window as well.
Simpson lost it. Stephen did also. Now Gibbs. With a little kick towards the half-forward line. Daisy Thomas, a long way from home, can come into the middle. He's got a couple of options there, either Everett or Buckley, who chose the former.
Nearly gave away 50. Schneider, very quick to get back.
Oh, well, he's kicked into the man on the mark. That was Schneider. Now the door opens there for Sipos, who's had a very quiet night. Billy Longer tried to get it wider to Schneider. Nunes is there to give it to Hayes. Lenny's away. The Saints are away. Joey Montagna on the outer side, looks up towards the half-forward line.
Well done,
Kick
Buckley.
drops short. Buckley drops in the hole and takes a timely grab.
Work rate has dropped in half by the Blues.
Total uncertainty about their ball movement now. Simpson just sets it up high. Casbolt's been their go-to man. Robinson got tunnelled a little bit. He's going to get the free. Jamison's playing forward for Carlton at the moment. He's with no Riewoldt on the ground. He hasn't got a match-up, so he goes to the man who can certainly take a mark. That's
That is
Casbolt.
amazing, James Quilt, because he took all the time in the world throwing the ball back, and all his opponent did, Casbolt, was run forward into the attack 50 and get the next kick from Robinson.
Guys, good news. Riewoldt's just come back onto the ground.
All right, that is good news for the Saints, who are making a charge in this third term. being held up momentarily, though, by Levi Casbolt.
And he's doing a lot of neck stretches, Hutto, so he's feeling a fair bit of pain through there.
So here's Big Levi from about 55. He's given it plenty. It's going to go right to the line and beyond. No, touched right on the line.
That's a good roost from 55.
Or is it?
We're going to have a referral, are we?
I believe it's touched. I'd just like to check.
I felt getting a little bit too close. The comfort there, the umpire.
It's called it touched.
Yeah.
Oh, this could be interesting.
No, that's not really that. This is
Third
the
eye,
angle we want to see.
The whole
isn't it?
ball has to be over the line. No, that's a good call by the goal
Good
umpire.
call. Good call.
Great vision, the third eye.
Yeah. That'll be a behind.
Review complete. Confirming goal. No. Confirming touched.
That's all he needs. I thought he was taking the mickey then.
One behind goes on the board. After that, Levi Casbolt bomb. So Montagna again. Brings it back into play. Dempster under the pump from Doherty. Subtly over the line.
Even that kick by Montagna just sat up in the air a bit. They're kicking at 54%. That's what's letting them down. The whole ball has to be completely over the goal line. And the third eye shows that's not the case. That's a terrific decision by the goal umpire.
And good technology as well.
From the throw in.
Should be every match, every goal line, Jerry.
Yeah.
The interesting element of that kick was the kick. Levi Casbolt can play.
He bombed
We
it
know
away,
he can
didn't he?
take the mark. We know he can provide shots at goal, but that kick tells you just how good a kick he can be. If he can just get it 20% more consistent, the Blues have got themselves a player.
Indeed, they have Simpson through, but lost the football to Quilt, who's had a very quiet night. Gibbs works well. Simpson again onto the left foot, coming towards Daisy Thomas. He's going to be outgunned here. Quilt sneaks away from Armfield. Kicks to the wide open spaces. Now there's been a whistle and it's going way back.
Cut it out. Cut it
Downfield, I
out.
think it's against Dale Thomas. That'll be St Kilda's kick.
It's costly, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that is costly.
He has not had a great night, Dale Thomas. Just the 6 possessions, he has kicked 1 good goal.
Here goes Farron Ray. Ray Rewalt's on the lead. Can he get there? Couldn't take it cleanly. The door opens for Rowe. Paddling the ball towards the boundary line. He overruns it. Gibbs can do the shepherding work, and he does. Rowe around the body towards Everett territory.
Got to show some composure, some of the Blues, Jason.
Yep.
They need some leadership, get the ball in the hands of the good decision makers,
I'll tell you what, I reckon we saw...
because they are panicking right now.
We saw the hangover of Nick Revolt's stunned blow that took him from the field because he just lost balance. He didn't handle the ball cleanly when he'd been so good early on.
Well, we just saw Gibbs, Murphy and Simpson
They're
all
the ones.
involved in that, Jared. And now Henderson, he's another one of the more classier players, to full forward, and the full back takes the mark.
And it was always going to be an issue for the Saints, just slightly stretched down in the forward line with Rewald going off the ground. And then the good decision makers got hold of the football, and 3 successive marks and kicks sets Jamison up for a rare feat.
Rare indeed for Michael Jamison.
Jack Stephen coming from the field.
1 goal 9 in his career.
Oh,
So
you're predicting your shank, are you?
no, I didn't say that, Jason. As long as he doesn't go
You're
for a grubber
thinking
kick, Jason. Here's the shot. Michael Jamison, full back. A rare intrusion into the forward line. Shows them just how easy it is. He's put it through for the 2nd goal in his 118-game career.
Just see, this is Daisy Thomas. You just can't do silly things like that. He got dumped for his trouble. Oh, there it is.
I think that was the free kick right there.
Too far.
Razor Ray. He let him get away with the first one. Do you know, muck around with him twice.
A bit of push and shove going on again.
It's on.
It's on now in the forward.
Oh, it is on. Oh! Mitch Robinson's having a dip.
That's unusual.
He's right there, Lenny.
Just bounce the ball. That'll soon break it up.
Go, eyes on it.
Jack Nunes, I reckon, is feeling the effects of one.
Here we go. Warnock out in the middle. Hayes, however, picks it up and does some heavy bullocking work. to get clear and give it to Curran, who goes long up towards Riewoldt, who's still not right. Push towards Schneider. Buckley tries to get him. Here's a snap, but it's high and wide, and Billings, sorry Jackie boy, a little too wide.
Mitch Robinson here. Oh! He had the jumper over his head, so maybe he didn't know what he was doing.
It's a good play. Things have got a little bit more interesting in this third quarter, you'd have to say.
Indeed, Everett. If the Saints could get another couple here, it would really make it interesting. Murphy has been very busy. Yaron is a speedster, as we know. Up towards the centre wing area. Gwilt lumbers. Jamison sprints. Gwilt says, thank you very much. Puts Ray under the pump.
Oh, that has to be a throw.
You would have thought so.
Got a boot of sorts.
Will have a lot of prior opportunity.
And Walker over the line.
A real feeling in this game now. But Carlton still holding a good advantage.
Yeah, they've added 1 goal, 1 for the quarter. Saints have kicked 2 goals, 4.
Which makes the next few minutes vital for St Kilda and for Carlton. But particularly with the Saints. And they've got an opportunity to head forward now. They squeeze the kick out, still going for a Riewoldt. As we said, he looks a bit below his best physically just at the moment. Rose might have an issue here. Play on. Umpire let him roll. Slapped back by Snyder. Plenty of Carlton players there to sweep. Simpson has been so pivotal tonight. And the dash of Buckley excites all the Blues fans. Big kick, and this man knows how to take a grab. We've seen that. Casbolt has to go to ground though now and try and keep it in friendly hands, and he can't. Nunes broke the first but not the second or the third tackle. It's back in dispute. Big Warnock wasn't really expecting it to come his way. He got a wild old handball away. Things have hotted up here at Etihad Stadium. Akers, some sure hands this time, and kicks it out into the space. And he's got his man Montagna, and he's running with a couple of bounces. That's the way he runs, Lee Montagna. Then he left it behind for a moment, had to go and retrieve it. Riewoldt comes up to gather. Off the left, hurries it inside 50. A fumble back there from Walker. A chance to recover. Still hasn't yet. They're just fraying around the edges a bit, the Blues at the moment. Under some serious heat here. Jamison didn't know which way to go, but he made a good decision in the end and gets it safely out to the wing.
This is more like it, though, from the Saints. Jason, if you thought we were being hard talking about intensity in the first half, what we're seeing now is absolute proof.
That last run from Montagna on the wing, he had Nick Riewoldt 20 metres clear on the lead. He had 2 bounces, ended up fumbling it, and then didn't have any targets.
Doherty, Yaron, Murphy, but it's Snyder who intercepts, paddles it in towards half forward. Stanley, now what can he do? From 49 metres, he pulls it a little too far to the left and run behind.
They're just shaking them up at the moment. Even the Murphy dropping the ball there from a mark he should have taken. You see that Blake Akers looks like he's been substituted, Boons.
Yeah, he's just come off, guys. Maverick Weller's come on for his run, so get a little bit of run through the middle of the ground. Hopefully get his score on the board for him too. It'd be nice.
Great kick.
Menzel to Doherty.
Just go.
Yeah, he's got some space and some time. It's got to be good to Thomas.
Oh, free kick. Didn't make it dirty, he covered.
I think once he'd given the free, though, he actually did well to make sure that Thomas couldn't get up quickly.
Too far out to score.
They're going to work hard to fill up the gaps here, the Saints. Not pushing back hard enough. Still a few gaps to lead into.
Well, Levi deep. Get him in the goal square. Get it to him 1 out.
He goes back to Walker.
The drag a
goes
free
into
kick.
Buckley.
He's up against just a couple of game player and Bruce.
Simpson. He's still in the middle of the ground. Probably come out to Jamison now. And does. So they're making little headway at the minute. Jamison.
Great kick.
Finds Casbolt. Now, similar spot.
Skinny side, Chambo.
That's about where he kicked the last one from.
Yeah.
It went right to the line. It was a massive roost.
Got Warnock down there.
He's got Menzel short.
He's going short. Won't get there in time. Ellard's kick partly smothered. Comes back towards the middle of the ground. The Buckley hand pass is going to be okay. And it's pumped forward by Sam Rowe. A high ball. Big pack of players. Who's waiting down in front? No one able to complete the mark. Pressure on Jones. Tries to get it out to Gwilt. He goes to ground. And he's gang tackled. He's going absolutely nowhere. We got a stoppage. with just under 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter. The Saints desperately trying to claw their way back into this game.
Oh, they have to defend grimly right now. Warnock with that advantage in height. Got the tap down, Gibbs. Couldn't forge a path. Gwilt goes to ground again. Oh, he's got a free this time for some high contact. He's playing with fire going to ground like that, though. Got the whistle in his favour on this occasion, James Gwilt.
He's got to find a bit of run, a bit of open space.
Gets the call from Bruce, who can take the mark, quickly assesses. They've got some options across half forward. They dry up for now. Went short to a one-on-one, and pretty easy picking there, easy fodder for Jamison.
A couple of times he just hasn't assessed the right option this quarter, Josh Bruce.
So the margin 29. In a dramatic quarter. Good coming off the ground. They're getting in the road of the boundary umpire, who now can complete his task. Bills it back in. Warnock down for Yaron. Great touch from Yaron. He's off and going again, but the handball from Robinson. The ricochet. Jones to Hayes. Couldn't see off McLean, but he did release it. Weller into the 50. Stanley hits it hard. Buckley comes the other way. Again restrained though. Now how's the umpire going to read this one? Ball up. It's consistent with most of the interpretations we've seen so far tonight.
He couldn't do much more there, Buckley. He was ferocious at the footy.
Gets up.
Come up with a corgi.
Yeah, feeling it. The intensity's gone right up in this third quarter. Slapped away Stanley. Down to Snyder. Can they get a hand on it? Yes, they can. And it's Rowe who does the good defensive action.
See, they're pressing. They just can't chip away another goal or two to sort of get themselves close enough to have a real crack at them.
Tui under pressure, but got his kick. Dropped short to Hayes. Now Snyder might get another chance here. He's 55 from home. Goes to the top of the square. Rewalt was a flyer. Jamison waits down. Cool in a crisis. Simpson, a high ball. Yaron's going to be outnumbered here. And the mark is taken by Webster.
37-22 in the contested ball here. It's self-evident just watching the game that things have changed dramatically for the Saints, and it's been at clearances and contested footy that they have just taken control of this match. Haven't quite got reward on the scoreboard.
Jack Stephen caught one, so he leaves the ground. Webster comes running in without wasting any time at all, goes across the face of goal and puts through behind.
Gee, they've blown some chances to Kilda. They've kicked Buddy-like numbers. 2 goals, 7 in this third quarter. It's a Carlton 1-1.
A couple of stitches in there to Jack, and he'll be back, no doubt. Simpson goes to Armfield.
Gee, they found it hard to get out of defence cleanly, haven't they?
They've lifted the intensity of their pressure. Let's have a look at Jack Stephen here. It just runs into the elbow. Yep.
Unintentional. He'll be back out soon. He's a tough little nut. The best and fairest, reigning best and fairest. Armfield. Warnock left to do his own roving work. Couldn't get it clear. Neither could Ray nor Robinson. Ray gets another opportunity. Now Montagna wide. Shenton to Gwilt.
Can they find a target inside 50?
Gwilt's away. It's a flat-looking helicopter punt. It goes inside 50 just for the moment. Jones may get another chance. Brings it outside. Thought about Rewalt. Now steadies. Goes across goal. McLean sets himself. Coming through strongly was Sipos. Here's Shendon. Kick smothered. Will he get another opportunity? No. It's the Robertson hand pass to McLean. Carlton out of trouble again for the moment. Where are the runners? Montagna will be first to it. Thought about going backwards to Dempster, but then swings it round and finds a teammate in Lenny Hayes on the outer wing, just forward of the wing. Half a minute remaining, so there's time for the Saints. If they could squeeze another one out, they're right back in this game. Jack Billings can't take the mark. But you could see a sense of anticipation, perhaps, on Richo's face.
14 inside 50s to 8 for the quarter, Sandy.
Yeah. Here's Warnock again in opposition to Longer. Gibbs on Hayes was interesting.
Well, they've dominated every element of the game in this quarter, the Saints. It's been quite an incredible turnaround. The clearance numbers, they need rectifying. Otherwise, the Blues will go down in this match if the Saints can somehow find a little bit more magic in front of the goals. They're doing everything else well at the present time.
Warnock on the left boot, straight out of bounds on the full. So here's the opportunity. 12 seconds remaining. They need to go long and require a mark.
Well, when you have had the year that Carlton have, you always go into every game with a small monkey on the shoulder, and right now it's looking like a gorilla. It is growing with every poor kick.
I think the Saints are going to run out of time. They will. Siren sounds. It's three-quarter time. They're not, however, without hope.
Josh Bruce is a very relieved man, Sandy. He would have been one out with Chris Yarran with 70 metres between him and the goals.
So three-quarter time, and we might just have a contest here set to unfold. Carlton 11-7-73. The Saints a 6-10-46 with a quarter to play.
Tonight, certainly his ability to take the mark. Thomas still playing that defensive role on Dempster. Centre bounce. We're underway in the final term. And let's see if the Saints can shunt it forward from there. In fact, nothing doing for either side. So what will Carlton's physical response be to that third quarter? And Bobby Warnock somewhat reluctantly handing the ball back to the umpire. He comes in and gets the tap down to Everett, so all good for him now. Simpson was on his wrong side, so he handballed to Gibbs, made life a bit uncomfortable for him. There's the sublime skills of Yarran again.
Oh, gee, I reckon he ducked into that one.
And he's got himself a free. Kicks quickly, out wide. Wasn't a bad kick, was it? Mitch Robinson's able to run onto it, take the mark. He's a big kick, Mitch, when he's going.
He worked hard to get the opportunity for the mark.
It's an important kick too, because they had all the momentum in that third term. They'd love to just snuff that out early, the Blues.
Kicked just 2 goals so far this year, Mitch Robinson.
Does tend to run out to the right and hook it back.
Yeah, that's what he's doing now. Is it going to come back enough? It looks pretty sharp off the boot. Not going to quite make it, though. And now Longer, the big ruckman, had to think that through. It's always a bit dangerous. Sorry for a behind.
The ruckman thinking it through.
That's it, yes.
Oh, very harsh, I don't.
Don't worry about the it through.
Oh, dear.
And he did it very well, Billy.
See, that's a good kick.
So now the Saints may get an opportunity if they could get a score early. Rewalt's a long way from home. Sam Rowe backing up. Almost loses his pants, but he manages to get a kick of sorts down towards the half-forward line, and Henderson.
Needs to have an impact on the game, Henderson. That was smart.
Yarran, clever. May get it back again from Doherty. Now Doherty loses it to Armfield. Warnock says, bugger it, I'll kick it. And he does. High, wide, and anything but handsome. Out of bounds on the full for the big man.
Good pressure again from the Saints. Top of the corridor. It looked like the Blues were going to get a relatively simple shot on goal, but every time they found a hand pass to a teammate, the Blues, St Kilda were there to tackle or harass.
Dempster only as far as Henderson. Short to Simpson, but over his head and taken by Stephen, who had a couple of stitches in the head late in the third quarter, and good to see him
what
back.
A kick.
That is a worm burner, a brilliant pass to Stanley. Now Rewalt's got to get his skates on here if he gets a kind bounce, but he doesn't. He gets a shocker, the Blues get a good one, and they're out of trouble to Walker.
Gee, disappointed, Rewalt.
Yeah. Way to burn someone there.
Yeah.
Mark taken on the wing, as you can see by Mitch Robinson, who's been very prominent early in this last quarter.
Once again, the Saints, they've got everything sorted except for how to score.
Now, Bruce just really worried about Casbolt, who's facing away from him. At one stage was quite concerned, but Jones is able to help out. Curran
doing it particularly well till they get inside the forward 50, and then it's just starting to break down.
Billings off half back. Carlton by 28. And there's an aggressive kick.
And a good one.
Yeah, right into the middle. Mark taken by Sipos. We know he's got a power. In fact, it's by Weller, who goes long across to Rewalt again. Rowe. This time Rewalt got the judgment right and takes the mark on the 50.
Not sure what he's asking for. Maybe he thinks he touched it on the way through, Sam Rowe, but that's another good mark. Has he got the energy and the composure to go back and kick it from 55?
Be a testing kick, won't it, for a man who's been physically battered a bit tonight. But he's shown over the years to overcome all sorts of physical handicaps with injuries. Nick Rewalt to lead the way. He digs deep. They need a goal. He knows that. It's straight, and it drifts a little, but not too much. It's a goal. It could be the thing to get them going in this last quarter. He's kicked his third, and the Saints back within 22.
Great response, wasn't it, by Nick Riewoldt? He was down and out literally in that third quarter. And the work rate hasn't dropped off. Rowe's done a reasonably good job. He's kept with him most of the time with speed. He catches him in the end. But he had to go harder and get better body on body, because the single fist was always going to miss on that occasion.
Yeah, he didn't. It actually just flicked his hand on the way through, but you've got to pay that mark. He's a star, Nick Riewoldt.
Well,
just
going back
finds
and
a way.
finding the goals there, that was the hardest kick he's had all day or all night, and he got it.
So this is the closest the Saints have been since early in the second quarter. Can they cap another one here? Now, Billy Longer plucked that from the back of his neck, which was interesting. Jack Billings is in trouble. He loses the footy. Murphy tried his heart out all night. Armstrong couldn't take it. Jack Stevens says, I will, and he does. Gets it off quickly towards a teammate there in Webster. Webster goes wide to the outer side. Sipos, rarely sighted early. Getting a couple of valuable touches now.
Just going for too much, though, with Nick Riewoldt. It's just, that's a 1 in 50 kick.
Guys,
And
Carlton made their sub. Jeffy Garland coming on. Ellard is the one off too.
Now, that is
Boss has got the ability to go back and almost kick the goal himself.
Jeffy Garland is a sub that can have a massive impact to the Blues here.
More pace. More
Fresh
pace.
legs and the quickest legs out there.
Murphy, was he taken high? Schneider, a snap. Goes right across the face and doesn't trouble the scorers.
It's been a great fight back by the Saints to get themselves into this position.
7-10, 52. 11-8, 74, 22 points. Warnock from the back. That one is going absolutely nowhere.
Could be in trouble.
This one could be in trouble. He is. Boy, well, they were stacked on top of each other like pancakes. But still he managed to find something. Now, here goes the runner. Yaron gives it back, and will he take it back again? Perhaps he should have, because that's gone out of bounds on the full.
What they did was they made Cade Simpson kick on his right foot. That was the key. They didn't allow him back onto his left.
Now it's Sipos. Just some hesitation. In the end, it's the top of the square. Longer is the tallest. Target's going over his head. Simpson forced to defend. Dunstan, we know he's a young bull, came charging through. Armfield had some help from Gibbs. Kicks it to half back. Twisting and turning is the skipper, Murphy.
Good tackle.
Just a wild handball. Dempster on the move. He was turned, so there was no free kick. Saints have got numbers at the footy, though. Stephen hurled it out again. Hurry kick inside from Weller. 30 out from goal. Dunstan, what about that?
They're coming hard, the Saints. Just can't apply the finishing touches.
Margin 21 now.
Just if they could get one here, just could set them alight.
I think Nick Moldhouse just showed us that he's a little concerned.
Well,
about
he
things
should
as
be,
well.
because they're not desperate enough right now. For a side that's under siege, they'll get desperate. If the situation gets desperate, they'll get desperate.
Walker to Henderson to Garland.
Too late to take him on.
He's away. Around the boundary line. Did he go over?
Oh, that's downfield.
And it's going to be downfield to big Levi Casbolt.
Levi's been in very good kicking form. He's just about ready for one, and that is dumb.
Yeah, it is. That's dumb footy, you're right.
Now, the distance won't be a problem here for Levi, because we know if he gets it, big bulk behind it, he's going to have no worries about kicking at 55. He's going to be kicking from probably 50 or maybe just inside. A big steadying goal required here for Carlton. He has a good look at it and resigns himself to the fact that it is one behind.
To let off for Jimmy Webster.
Yeah. So Joey Montagna to bring it back in. Thinks about going straight down the middle. Now called to go. He does go down the middle. Robinson will be the spoiler coming over the top. Buckley's waiting down, but his kick was smothered. McLean gets the hand pass away. Robinson again. Big bomb up towards the pocket. Everett and co. No one able to take the mark, and it's taken over the boundary line. We've got to throw in. Menzel lurking as he did in the second quarter when he booted 3 goals.
They need another 3 from him in quick succession, the Blues. they don't want to just fall over the line. They want to make this a memorable victory.
There's a great tackle there from Mitch Robinson to try and lock it in, and again from Garlett, and again from Gibbs. The Blues knew they had to work hard. Simpson sets it up. Anyone can have a crack. Casbolt, the most likely. Dale Thomas tries to shake clear. He did once, but not twice. And now it's up for everybody again on the floor, and the umpire forced to get involved again. So 9 minutes in, 13 remaining. You can see everyone in that half of the ground. The footy about 30 metres out from goal. Ray's got centre stage, hurls it in the air. Longer again in that combat position. Quick kick away, Hayes. Going to be scooped up by Tui. On the run, flicks it out. Brock McLean, has he got enough left in the old tank? Not for the look of that.
Gee,
maybe he couldn't,
eye.
maybe he couldn't see.
Blood streaming from it, and he has to come off. Wouldn't have been able to see the target at all.
He might have kicked it exactly where he thought the goals were.
Well, they're in an interesting situation now, the Saints. Plenty of time to go, but they're going to have to take some calculated risks to win it. Going to have to be brave with their decision-making, try and get the ball into the corridor as often as they can and get it down there with speed.
Also got to hit a couple of targets.
Dempster gets the OK from the umpire and decides to dart around the mark and run into the back pocket. He's got Bruce as his main target. Casbolt will be putting pressure on. He does. Bruce has to shake the hips, got it away. Shenton gets the handball. Again, asking a lot of his teammates, but his teammates are up for it. Billings streams away.
Kick.
Classy young player. Hits Revolt. The head in. Even numbers in the forward 50 if he gets it in there quickly. Stanley makes the lead. There's nothing that he liked at all there, Nick Revolt. Now they've flooded some back. Kicked it over Stanley's head, and Jamison takes the grab, and now the Blues can crank it up, and they can bolt, and Gibbs is out on the outer side.
Look at Gibbs. He's got hectares. He ambles, he strolls on this Monday night up towards the forward line, then bends it back, trying to accommodate Menzel. 3 magical goals in the second quarter, but a beautiful tackle brings him to a halt here, but he still gets rid of the footy. Oh, at the back, an opportunity. This will be a gimme goal, and it is to Yaron. He gets his 4th, and it's a steadier for the Blues. Chris Yaron back in the side this week, now has 11 for the season. And it just gives the Navy Blues a little bit of breathing space. Back to 81, playing 53.
Again, it all came from a turnover at the other end. Revolt just misses Reece Stanley. The quick change of direction, and then the Blues are out, but they made hard work of it.
Bryce Gibbs was very laconic, wasn't he?
He was. I think he might have thought he had more time than he actually did, but he still didn't really hit a target. But there's the chain of possessions for the Blues. They were pretty precise until the final one, and it ended up being a collision with the Saints that set them up.
He's had 33 disposals, Bryce Gibbs. Quick kick back inside, could change things. All opens up for Nick Revolt. Off to Sipos, has to hit the target. Doesn't. There's the Brock McLean injury from before.
Oh, yeah, gets a boot going past.
That's a good kick.
So quick kick in to Walker. He can kickstart them from the half-back line once again.
They just haven't had the polish, the Saints, whether it be the last kick going inside 50 or the chances to kick the goals when they've needed them.
Henderson couldn't take it at the back. Murphy, who's also been prolific, off to Gibbs. Back to Murphy. Short once again to Armfield. So the Blues have it on centre wing. Have a lead of 27 points. Walker charges forward, kick's got to be good, and it is. Menzel has a look down to his forward line, eyeing off guys like Henderson, and then the little runners. Casbolt is there as well. Yaron and Garlett lurking dangerously. Garlett couldn't quite keep it in play, and it'll come back for a throw-in. But they've got it down in their attacking zone. They've got to the sub Garlett on with fresh legs, and he's set to pounce.
Well, it's an important 10 minutes for Jeffrey Garlett. He's been down and out a couple of times with the Blues, lacking a bit of confidence. He gets an opportunity to kick 1, maybe 2, and just relaunch his season.
Another stoppage. Good tackle by Jack Nunes. Brock McLean back on after having that eye cleaned up. and in the thick of things. Once again, we could have another stoppage, or is there a problem at the bottom? No. Gibbs 34 disposals, Simpson 32, and Murphy 27, leading the way for the Blues. Lenny Hayes with 28, leading the way for the Saints. And it's going to be the third stoppage in probably a minute.
Well, it won't bother the Blues because the clock becomes the enemy now for the Saints.
Correct. Casbolt with the right hand flicks it now. Armfield will be tucked on a tight angle here. What can he do? Straightens it up magnificently. And Menzel takes the mark, and he'll go back and he'll kick for his fourth goal. And they would have all come at this end of the ground.
That was great play all round. Murphy's tap over the back came from a pretty good ruck tap. And then it was a good centering kick. And then Menzel's arms or hands, they were really strong.
Gee, that's a great left foot pass. That's superb. And here's the nice short run up again, Sandy. It's a beauty, isn't it?
And he directly in front at the moment. He's 60 from home. And he's going to be kicking from probably 32. Starts the walk, then he stutters, then he keeps going, and he kicks it behind. Gee.
Too much think time, Sandy.
Yeah, way too much think time, Moons, I'm afraid. 54 plays 82. 9:13 on the clock.
It was slightly ajar for the Saints. It was a pity from a Carlton point of view after such a terrific passage of play. Wasn't capitalised on. Stanley sneaks out the back door, though. Swept on it. Walker has time to run back and hit a target. Garlett was moving one way, Robinson the other. There's Shenton. Garlett almost gathered it. Robinson only knows one way, straight towards goal. Straight ahead, opened up for Garlett. Just a bit of a fumble as he tries to get his touch back. Wide old handball. Here's Gibbs, wades his way through. He's caught. Took about 3 Saints with him. Menzel looking for a free. Gibbs goes again. Jones didn't panic. Hammers the ball out and gets it to the safety of the line, and we'll have a throw in.
But that is the way forward for Jeffy Garlett, is just see ball and just burrow in and get the ball, and just it will open up for him. He's got too much talent for it not to.
So from the throw, Warnock just poked it down. Again, McLean, been a pretty important player for them. High ball, Henderson against 2 Saints. Yeah, he's looking with plenty of intent, keeping them just wondering where he's going to move next. Centering ball, and this man, he knows how to take a grab.
He's a player, this kid, Jason.
Menzel.
He's a natural forward, isn't he? Because he reads the play well. He always presents in the right space. He makes it very difficult for the player with the ball not to kick it to him, because he's the one they see every time they turn.
There's a few Carlton fans not that impressed that he was the sub last week.
Well, the St Kilda defenders, the St Kilda forwards have cleared the 50 at the other end of the ground so he can have a decent run up.
just threw up a bit of grass. I was wondering what the breeze was doing.
It's a Matthew Lloyd fan.
Well, it's a long way in, isn't it? Almost has to kick the ball as far as he's run in. Menzel from 50 this time.
Done it again.
Similar to last.
You can see what the problem is. He's tired by the time he gets to kick the footy.
Exhausted.
Another minor. Carlton's lead is 29. The crowd of 26,000 tonight, which I think last year was 34 when these 2 sides met on this occasion. So it's not a great crowd.
They've got to try and use the corridor a bit, the Saints now.
Sibos.
That's the kick.
Yep, comes in towards Jack Newnes, who wastes no time. And they can't waste time now. Rewalt, he can play on here, 50 metres from home. Onto the left foot, which wasn't extremely pretty. Mark not taken, however, by Walker, so there's still an opportunity for the Saints, but Warnock is there to tidy up, and the big man does well. They'll get it out towards Simpson. It was touched, so you've got to play on, and Dempster crunches him. Brings him to ground. Armfield does likewise over the boundary line, and we've got a throw in.
What was that?
I'm not sure Kate Simpson heard the call touched. He thought he's taken the mark and then gets drilled.
I think Sean Dempster heard it though, Jason.
Oh, he did.
Here's the throw in.
I think he got a clip over the ear as well.
Warnock from the back. Montagna can't bend it back enough, and it's out of bounds without troubling the scorer. A wry smile from Joey.
Just the 20 possessions for Montagna, and he's kicked it 29%. Andreas Everett's done a very, very good job on him. He's had 18 possessions himself, Everett.
percentage is most unlike him. Now Tui is called to go and eventually runs out of room. Take 2 to McLean. Centering, that's all right to accommodate Murphy.
Oh, they're out here.
He can go wide to the outer side now. Get ready for some running here.
He should have marked it, Bull.
Should have marked it. He's got Robertson screaming for it and making plenty of ground. Takes it well with the flight. Running with the flight. He's going to go back now and try and kick the goal that will definitely put this game beyond doubt.
Well, it's pretty clear what they're doing with their kick-ins, and it's a good strategy, and they've implemented it pretty well a number of times tonight, the Blues. But the next opposition, they'll have a good look at it. They'll go to school on it, and they'll have to come up with plan B.
Saints have had a very good record against Carlton. They've won 16 of their last 19, but this is going to be Carlton's night tonight. Mitch Robinson hoping to close the deal. Well done. Well done, Mitch. He gets his first in his 94th game. And Carlton will record their 3rd win of the season.
It's a bad breakdown of the kick-out zone, though, because it got held up when Tui got pressured through from behind. Then he brought it out. Then they found Murphy in the corridor, and 2 players were able to get over the back for the long kick from Murphy. So I think Alan Richardson will be pretty disappointed in the way they read that setup for the goal kick, or the kick after the behind was scored.
Monday night footy at Etihad Stadium, and Carlton 34 points in advance now of St Kilda. Down to the last 5 minutes. And they want some more, the Blues. Warnock heaves it inside. Casbolt was a big target. Gwilt had other ideas. Straight ahead was good stuff from Gwilt. That's going to be a free for the runner getting in the way.
St Kilda runner.
St Kilda runner.
Wow. Reece Stanley has had 4 possessions for the night.
He's flat.
4 possessions.
And the runner robs you of your best moment.
Yeah.
McLean decided to play on. Murphy saw off the tackle from Hayes. Now Dale Thomas on the 50. Pretty innovative.
Oh, ducked ahead, Jeffy Garland.
But Henderson swings it back to the square. Got past all comers. Now Bruce had a moment or two. He just got the release. And Jones kicks to a one-on-one. Could still favour the Blues. Let's see. It's Snyder picking it up. And over to Jack Stephen.
Oh, no.
And that is an error that's going to cost full points. Doherty puts it through. Jack Stephen handing it to him, and that's his 2nd goal. Sam Doherty.
And that man there won't like the replay. That's just ducking the head, expecting contact. You can't do that. You take the ball first. And Jack Stephen won't like his night either when he has a look at things. It's been a tough night for him. Really hasn't got involved much at all. Just the 14 possessions. No impact. And a turnover here that results in the goal. But well done to Doherty.
Yeah, on the other hand, Doherty's done well, hasn't he, tonight? He's at both
good,
ends of the ground.
Yep.
So we're out to a 40-point margin now in favour of the Blues.
He's up to 20 possessions, Doherty, and 2 goals to his name.
With 4.5 minutes to play. Carlton will look ahead. They've got the bye, and then Adelaide and Brisbane.
Very winnable game.
Yeah, and then it gets a little tougher. The Cats. Here's Henderson and Armfield intercepting. Yaron goes back to Henderson, running out of room. He just flicks it round the body. He was hoping to accommodate Garlett. Went beyond him to Mitch Robinson. And snap. How's he going to bend that one? Oh, don't tell me he's kicked that. How good is that? Just to put the icing on the cake. He says, thank you, Mitch. It was a beauty. He gets his first. He's been averaging 5 goals in the last 5 games against St Kilda, but has had a long wait tonight for his first.
Well, this is just one of the goals of the year. Jeppy's having a bad time, but at the present time, maybe this will launch him. He ducked his head. That's just a lack of confidence. He's not a habitual head ducker. He's just having a bad moment. And he desperately needed this one to go through, just for his own well-being, and also for the fact that Troy Menzel was at the top of the square here, and he was desperately keen to get hold of that ball.
Yes, his arms were waving frantically, Troy Menzel.
Look at that advantage in the fourth term, 32-9.
Well, that's what they needed to change, because it was one-way street in the third quarter.
And they're streaking out of the middle consistently now, the Blues. Simpson can generate some more run. The skipper Murphy darting his 31st disposal out in front of Menzel, who might be hunting his fourth goal in a minute. Almost threw it across to Gibbs, just got it there somehow. Into Garland again. He's got it. He's got the wheels spinning hard. Handball back to Warnock. He's a bit slow at the slate stage. Murphy able to get through a tackle. It's a bit sloppy, but they're still full of running, the Blues. Jamison out wide. Simpson, his 36th disposal to the top of the 50. Wants some more from this man, Yaron. He's looking for a free. He's not going to get it. The Saints have got some numbers across half-pack. Margin stands at 46.
No one to kick to.
No one at all to kick to. Snyder's got Revolt. Takes it very wide. It'll give the Blues a chance to get some coverage back inside the 50. Weller's screaming for it at the top of the arc.
They will take some positives out of this loss. So the Saints beaten 140-odd points last week. You do have to put in competitive efforts on the back of that. I mean, everyone would love them to have pinched the 4 points if you're a St Kilda fan. But after 140-point thrashing, Jason, it's very difficult to turn that round in the space of 7 days.
It is, and they've had patches or periods of play tonight where they're on top. They looked good. It's just a little bit of finishing polish that has really cost him.
So Nick Revolt, another 3 straight tonight. He has 21 goals, 5 for the season. Kicked a beautiful goal to give them some hope at the start of the quarter, and he's put that one through as well. That's his 4th. And the margin reduced to 40 points.
He can't miss this year, Nick Revolt. I mean, but it just looks like as he's walking in to kick the goal, he's just expecting to kick it every time. And it's coming off so well. Oh, look, he gives it and then he goes again. One thing you do get from Nick Revolt is he continually works. What I liked about this is he looked at it, Schneider, and he kicked it to Revolt when he could see that the Carlton players around him had their backs to the footy. So whilst it mightn't have been the perfect kick, Revolt was the only one that was tracking the footy and took the uncontested chest mark, because Walker and one of the other Carlton players were running back into the defensive 50 with their backs to the ball.
One of a number of straight shooters in our comp this year. Jay Schultz, Port Adelaide, and Josh Kennedy, deadly accurate earlier in the round. So out of the middle once again. The Saints still battling it clear. Delaney gets it out quickly towards Curran. Curran goes up towards the half-forward line. Stanley marks and gives it off to Lenny Hayes. Beautiful pass, Lenny.
That whole passage was quite brilliant.
That was better. And now Jack Billings, who's kicked the goal back in the second quarter, has a chance to kick another one.
One thing they do want to do, the Saints, is let's fight it right out to the final siren. You know, get another goal or two just to tighten the score up a little bit, and again take some positives. That whole passage of play from the moment they won the clearance was tremendous.
Coming up for disposal number 14 is Jack, kicking from 47 metres. Good looking kick off the boot, and he's made no mistake. Goal umpire not moving 1 centimetre. So he gets his second, and they are fighting it out to the finish.
They've got plenty of young talent coming through, and it's been on display at times tonight. Billy Longer is a goer. I really like what he can bring to the Saints. I know they've got Tom Hickey also coming through. They've got a couple of good young ruck stocks, but they're starting to accumulate some midfielders. They're going to need them because next week they'll be back here next Sunday and they'll be up against the Gold Coast, and they've got plenty of them, including a bloke who's turned 30 turns 30 during the week, named of Gettier.
Turns 30, he's playing like he's 24, just in the peak of his powers.
Getty.
Saints, of course, without some experienced players in defence like Gilbert and Fisher and Geary, who's a big loss after last week, and Armitage, they'll be looking forward to getting him back as soon as possible as well into the midfield. So they'd like to streak down and see they can collect another goal before the end of the game. They've got 1:20 to try and negotiate it and achieve that. And this man Billings keeps throwing himself up at the footy. And this old bloke also keeps on running, and you can see the frustration on the face of Sam Rowe.
Yeah, Sam Rowe just needed to stand a couple of metres in front of Revolt then, because there was only one place he could lead. That was the pocket.
He's able to share it around. And it'll be Aaron Sipos will line up for another shot for goal. He hasn't been Too accurate so far. 2 behinds.
And a tough night for Sipos. He's got to be hitting the scoreboard.
Nearly 3 goals in the VFL last week. It's about a 50-50 proposition from there. And again, he misses to the left.
But he's had, what, 4 shots? And should have knocked down 2 goals at least.
At least 2.
So the margin 33 as Jamison looks to bring it back into play with 22 seconds remaining. Sandy?
Yep. This is going to be a valuable 4 points for the Blue Baggers. Jones, the look-away hand pass is OK. Gives it back towards Dunstan, who returns it. A high ball. Can they get a mark? No, they can't. It's smashed over the line for one behind. That'll probably be the last score of the night.
The point about having the 4 shots is quite simply that if you're a small forward, that's enough. You've just got to, somebody as good a kick as him, he has just got to
Convert.
Get them across the between the big ones.
Jamison Dempster as a flyer.
You pick it up, Dave. He's got to go back. Okay, Dave, now. Time back up.
Dempster wastes no time. But time has been against the Saints, and the Blue Baggers back on the winners list. Successful in the end by 32 points. With the final score, Carlton 15-11, 101. St Kilda 9-15, 69.
Well, the game had plenty, boys, didn't it, along the way? A few of them tangled from each side. There was some blood. We had some injury worries, a bit of a fight going on, but Carlton simply too good. Both sides didn't take the most of their opportunities at various stages when they could have put themselves much further forward.
No, I think we're looking at a couple of teams that are outside the 8. They're bottom 10 teams. Where exactly they fit in that mould, we're not quite sure. Let's head down onto the ground. Cam Mooney with Chris Yarran.
Hi, I'm Jason. Chris, fantastic result after last week. You really came out in that first 5 or 10 minutes and showed massive intent.
Yeah, we wanted to make amends for last week. Obviously disappointing against Collingwood last week, and lucky enough tonight we got the win, which is great.
We're at the third quarter. They came at you. They just didn't let you have it all night, did they?
Yeah, quality side St Kilda. We knew they were going to come, but we just stuck to our guns and stuck to our structures. And lucky enough we came on way with the win.
What about yourself? You started your career as a forward, went back for a number of reasons. Now you got back forward. Looks like you've got massive confidence up there at the moment.
Yeah, so Mick's given me massive belief in whichever position I play, and to play forward and then back again, which is always being a swing man, is something that I cherish this year, and hopefully I can continue my form throughout the year.
What about your running goal? You got the ball just here in the back of the square and just took off, and you're almost just taking the mickey out of them in the end.
I tried to do a Lewis Jetta like a couple of years ago, but that's my strength, so I use my run to my advantage, and lucky enough it came off.
Mate, you excite all of us, so well done, mate. Good on you.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
A beautiful running goal after 4 bounces for Chris Yarran. He finished with 4 goals. Menzel booted 3. They were the major contributors for Carlton, whilst for St Kilda, Nick Riewoldt, good old reliable St Nick, 4 goals once again from the 5-time best and fairest. Jack Billings kicked a couple as well. Just over 26,000 fans here tonight, and stay with us on Fox Footy. More interviews coming your way, and of course heading back to the studio as well with Eddie and the team who'll analyse this Carlton victory. But right now, let's head back to Moons.
Well, Menz, we're just talking about how many times you'd been subbed, and just a little message there to Mick to say stop putting me even the best.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to shake it the last couple of weeks, and obviously done enough to get a full game this week, so hopefully I can stay on the side for a while.
What was spoken about during the week after the Collingwood performance? We know it was a really poor one. What was the main message coming into the game?
Yeah, look, it was really just let's try and look forward to next week. I mean, it's always a new week coming in footy, so just really try to get our structures right, our game plan right, and I think we did it for the most part of the day, and it was a good win.
You got the bye next week. What do you guys do?
Yeah, we've got a couple of days recovery, then we got a bit of a 4-day break, so I think the boys will be relaxing a bit and just getting away from it for a little bit.
I'll let you get down there, all the supporters. They all want to see the star of the moment, mate. Well done.
No, thanks, Cam.
get off. Inside. I feel like I'm playing VFL. Let's crack on. Smash it, so we got That's coming out.